lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 242 of Sports Cards Live. It is Saturday night, September the 28th, 2024. My name is Jeremy Lee. Would like to let everybody know tomorrow night on the channel, Fanatics Collect Live weekly hockey show is back with Josh Madigan of the Gong Show. MC Mondays Live will be back on Monday with 107 high-end cards. We'll be calling the action, and the Fund Your Card Show is also back on Tuesday with Mark Sadov, and he will tell us the stories behind the grails. I would like to thank tonight's title sponsor, Private Collection Insurance. If you'd like to learn everything you need to know about insuring your valued collectibles, check out the episode with Enzo Ferrari on the channel and the podcast from last night. Guys, Filth Bomb Breaks offers live case and box breaks. They do so with responsibility and integrity. If you enjoy breaks and are looking for a company to break with, check out Filth Bomb streaming on Fanatics Live on 4 channels, 7 days a week. And if you are looking to add grails to your collection, check out Fund Your Cards, the hobby's leading consolidator. They will help you finance the purchase with your own cards. Visit fundyourcards.com. And again, we will be going live with the Fund Your Cards show on Tuesday, October 1st. Mint Inc. is the leading hobby brand in Canada. They offer a full range of services from in-person shopping, live event experiences at their 2 Toronto locations, to online shopping with worldwide shipping, auctions, breaks, grading, and more. Their primary focus is to bring the ultimate hobby experience to collectors in Canada. And on every episode of Sports Cards Live through the end of 2024, including tonight, they will be giving away a $50 gift card that is valid in their online store at mintink.ca. Also, please check out hobbynewsdaily.com for news, articles, and great hobby content. And Leighton Sheldon from Just Collect will be joining the show a little bit later for the Vintage Spotlight. Guys, this episode is also available on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Follow and subscribe for free, and please leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks as always to our loyal viewers and listeners for your ongoing support. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel or the podcast, please take a moment and do so. And as always, your comments and your questions are in play, although we could have a lot tonight because of our guest. Let's get to it. Tonight's guest started in the hobby in 1983, collecting Panini soccer stickers in Germany, filling the sticker albums with his lunch money. He debuted on A&E's Storage Wars in 2013 with his wife, Casey, and they launched Bargain Hunters Breaks in August of 2020. His favorite athletes of all time are Steve Nash, Dan Marino, Ricky Williams, and his favorite teams of all time are the Miami Dolphins, the Phoenix Suns, the San Diego Padres, and the German national soccer team. He is originally from Austria and currently hailing out of San Diego, California. Let's bring him out. There he is, Rene Nezhoda. Welcome to Sports Cards Live, buddy. How are you doing tonight?
I've never been introduced like that. I feel like I'm about to fight. This is like a fight. Hailing from California, right corner, Rene Nezhoda. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. Welcome to the show. And that's exactly what I try to do. It's as if you are entering the boxing ring. You've entered the Sports Cards Live studio, buddy. Listen, it's good to have you. We've met several times. We hung out at the Mint Collective in Vegas a couple times already, about 2 years ago now. We had dinner together at the eBay dinner in Cleveland at the National back in July. It was a very nice time. Your wife, Casey, was there. Even Enzo Ferrari from Private Collection Insurance was at the table with us, among some others. It's great to have you on the show finally. Thanks for making the time tonight.
Oh, thank you for having us. I mean, it's always great to run into you. Everybody always wants to talk to you. You're obviously super popular, and you're a big figure in the hobby, which is amazing. So being on your show should be a lot of fun, and hopefully we have some great conversation, which I'm sure we will.
I think we will. We have several times. We will again tonight. It's great to see you. I wanted to start with let's talk about your wife. Let's talk about Casey for a moment here. First of all, how did you meet Casey? Because you guys have been on Storage Wars since 2013. Everybody knows who you guys are. How did you? I have 2 questions. This is a 2-part question. Number 1, how did you meet her? And number 2, how'd you get her to stick around?
Well, it was actually really easy. I just I drink a lot of coffee, so I went to Starbucks. I saw her across the room. She took one look at me, and she was instantly obsessed. She started stalking me, and it got a little scary, kind of like the 80s horror movies type of stuff. So I figured it's in my best interest just to marry her for my safety. And here we are 20 years later, still married.
Nice. Very nice. Let's chat a bit about Storage Wars because, listen, I'll tell you, I got hooked into all the reality shows back in the, the Pawn Stars, the Storage Wars, those sorts of things. I enjoy those shows. I enjoy learning about these types of things. But how did you and Casey originally get recruited onto the program?
So they actually came around to us on season 1, and we were known as big buyers in Southern California, just like on the show. And they came to us and they offered us, good money, but little money compared for our business. And we just started our store at the time, which means we're working like 20 hours a day. And they said, okay, we're going to pay you $3,000 a week, which is nothing that because you still have to pay your units. You have to drive all over Southern California. Takes a lot of time, right? It's a full-time job. And then we're going to film you buy units and go through the boxes. And I'm like, what else? It's like, no, we're just going to film you go through the boxes. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, whoa. Later on, obviously, it was a huge mistake. It was one of the most successful non-network reality shows ever, especially with the repeating cast, right up there with American Pickers and Pawn Stars. And I didn't get all the drama, and I didn't see how exciting our life actually is, because most people they have a 9 to 5. They go to the cubicles, they go to their job, they do the same thing over. It's kind of mundane, right? It's just not exciting, I guess. At least, I don't know, that's what people tell me. Where we go treasure hunting every day. Every day is a Christmas type of thing. We take gambles. We have high moments. We have low moments. So people actually found that extremely interesting, and the show's a home run. By the time season 3 came around, they had some problems with Hester. They had legal problems, cast coming and going, and they contacted us again. They're like, hey, we really want you to come. And I'm like, look, I can't come for $3,000 a week. And at that time, with the success of the show, the price went a lot higher. They made us an offer. And finally, towards the end of season 4, we were able to make a contract with them where we came on for 6 episodes. We did those 6 episodes, and they were telling us because a few things going on with the show that's it. It's over. Me and Casey still decided to jump on it. And we had the joke is like, look, it's short. It's 6 episodes. When we're 85 years old, sitting on some porch in the Midwest, most likely, we can drink our iced tea and tell our grandkids that this whole reality buzz, we're a little part of that, right? And so we did it. But after season 4, they called us. They were like, look, how do you guys feel about doing season 5, be full-time cast? And we're like, whew. At that, then we quit after season 5 because it was a crap load of work. Like, we're always on the road. It started being bad. And then they came back with a different offer for a more long-term type of deal. And I think we did 16 seasons. I think we just finished season 16 last year. So that's it. It just kind of happened. It's kind of funny how it happened, to be honest.
Yeah, that it's pretty awesome. I had a few people kind of reach out to me after promoting that you were coming on, and people are like, I wonder if he'll be able to spill any beans or talk about some of the other cast members. Can you share any of your experiences with guys like Hester or Jared and Brandy, the eccentric Barry? Anything you can share about any of these guys?
If somebody has questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I've dealt with them all. So if you have questions, ask them. I will answer them I will answer them truthfully. So,
well, I got a question. Who were you closest with besides your wife, of course, on the cast? Who were you closest with, and was there anybody that you really just don't like?
The person I probably really don't like is Jared and Brandy. We never really got along. They tried to. They probably felt threatened by us because we're another couple, so we kind of fitted the same theme. Our lifestyles are very different. They tried to. They were rude to us most of the time, just like on a TV show. We definitely didn't gel. So you will not see me with them in Hawaii. The people we were closest with was probably Ivy, Dan and Laura, Kenny, so that's probably our closest people.
Nice. Are you still doing TV right now? Are you still under contract with Storage Wars, A&E? What's your current, TV experience looking like?
So when you sign up for reality television in the beginning, and this is like if anybody ever goes into reality television, most of the time they're trying to get you to sign for like 2-year exclusive after last air date and stuff like this. As our popularity grew, your power grows, especially in negotiation, right? So my contract was 30 days after last filming. I'm a free agent. So I am not under contract with Storage Wars or A&E, but the show's also so big, and we had many times during the show history where we had a 1 or 2 year break and then we film a bunch, where I'm not really looking to film anything else. Our new business is just completely exploding, and that's kind of what we're focusing on.
Right on. All right, let's go to the chat. We got Nikila Dodd says, "Happy Saturday. Your biggest fan on Storage Wars. Welcome to the show, Nikila Dodds." Mark Santucci, Philly was great. Don't know if John was there. Don't think I saw him there. What's up, Jay? Good to see you. As always, Laura, good evening. Welcome to the show. Jeff McMahon, Sign of the Times, loves Storage Wars. Mid-Atlantic is here for the game. Hello. Good to see you. Daniel, what's happening? Richie Rocket says, awesome guest tonight. Storage Wars was a good show. Laura's happy to see you. Renee, for everyone saying hi to you. What's going on? Robert Scott. Daniel used to love watching Storage Wars. Remember the first episode when you found the 86 Jordan PSA 9 rookie card. Tell us a bit. Do you no, you don't remember that?
So he's confusing it with my YouTube channel. Actually, once we started Storage Wars, we launched a YouTube channel. It's up to like almost 200,000 subscribers. And we used to do videos all the time. And this is right before the hobby like really boomed. And I had a guy that was in the storage business also. And he was an older guy. And he's like, look, Renee, I need money really bad. I got a PSA 9 Jordan. And at the time, that card was selling for like $4,000 to $5,000. And remember, those were different times. That's pre-COVID and everything. Just because it was a nice Jordan, it's not like it sells like that, right? We were selling cards in our store, and we looked it up on eBay. We looked at different things. It was kind of all over the place. But we figured it's probably worth $4,000 to $5,000 at the time. I bought that card for $3,500, I believe. I can't exactly remember. I feel like I bought it for $3,500. And that's the card he's talking about. I unfortunately flipped it the damn next week because somebody offered me $5,000. And Casey's like, you shouldn't sell it. I'm like, I don't know. This is what I do. I buy and sell. And that's a nice profit margin. You have to take profit, right? The hardest part of this business is not taking profit. But that's what he's talking about. It wasn't actually on the show, but it was on our YouTube channel.
Got it. And so you did find that show that card on the YouTube channel. When you're looking through storage lockers on Storage Wars or even otherwise, you're a professional treasure hunter. How often are you coming across sports cards in your travels?
It happens all the time, but now the business is so big that like when you see sports card lockers, everybody always thinks a Mickey Mantle rookie will be in there or the last Babe Ruth card. So they go really high. But I mean, we found lockers many times. And actually, if you go to our YouTube channel, or just in YouTube itself, you can type in Storage Wars trading cards and you will see all kinds of stuff. You want to hear one of my most exciting discoveries? And we do have a YouTube video.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it was really crazy. I was at a yard sale, the estate sale. Somebody passed away. And I was asking for trading cards, and then we filmed the whole thing. And I'm a big guy, right? So what I'm about to do, I'm not supposed to do. This was in San Diego. And they were like, yeah, the attic is full with old toys, and there's trading cards up there. And it's like, nobody can get in. All the people were older. They were all bigger than me. And they're like, yeah, we're just probably going to go with the house. I'm like, can I crawl through the attic? And when I'm talking about crawling, it was like, this fat boy might get stuck in the roof. And there was rats, and it was not fun. But you know what I mean? I'm an adventure seeker. I'm like, we got to see what's in there. And I'm seeing like old toys. I'm seeing all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm just like handing stuff to Casey going down the ladder. I'm like, take this, take this, take this. And we find this big old ass box of Star Wars cards from the 70s, right? Most of them are loose. There's some open ones. And we take the whole box down. And so we make a pile. We don't really notice what we find at the time. And then we made a YouTube video about it afterwards. And the guy says, oh, yeah, this is my grandfather used to do something with Topps and he was in production, something crazy, right? We go home, we film the video, we find these Star Wars cards and then French writing. So we're like, all right, obviously Canadian Star Wars, right? So they're rarer, but they're out there. We've seen them before. Now, at the time, we're trying to price everything with eBay, and we cannot find the same advertising because on those old cards on the back, they would have a special sort of advertising on it. And you can tell sometimes that helps with the series, or, the bazooka might be common, but Bob's Garage is really rare. They might have only sold that print in one state, right? And obviously that's the dramatization, but the point I'm trying to get across, different advertising, right? So we could not find this anywhere. And we had 2 sealed boxes of it, and I had probably 30 or 40 loose packs, plus all the regular Star Wars series, everything else. So we do research, and back then Topps used to have a website called Topps Vault. And every now and then they would take out stuff from the vault, and they auction stuff off. And we found the exact same Star Wars box. And so we had the whole story from Topps. I sent it to, I forget his name, over at BBCE, the main owner. I almost want to say it's not Joe, is it?
Steve Hart.
Steve Hart. I talked to Steve. He goes over the story too. And on the website, it says that when Star Wars came out, I think it was a second series product, that they tried to make a test market. So they had the United States market, they had the Canadian market, but they were trying to make a test market for France exclusive, which some of the packs didn't even have the right cards in. But so they did the whole packaging, and they only ever created one case. So whatever's in a case, 20 hobby boxes, 12 hobby boxes. They sold one of those boxes on their Topps Now auction at the time, and I think it was like $3,000, again, pre-COVID, before the crazy prices. I had two of them. We sent it to BBCE. They verified and packed them. They're basically prototype boxes. Unfortunately, I think I sold the two boxes for like $10,000 or $12,000. They're probably worth 30 or 40 now, but so we found that in adding. That was pretty amazing. And that video is there too. It's a 2-part video.
It's a good find. Yeah, you know what? If we could all go back and sell everything we ever bought at the peak, right? Everyone would be a lot better off. So, but you can't do, like you said, you got to take profits sometimes when you have the opportunity, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't in very much money.
Let's say hello to Gary Keith. What's going on? Striker20 says, who's the sexiest star on Storage Wars?
Right here.
This guy right
here.
there, baby. It's Renee right there. LGC says conflict is good on reality shows. Hey, it does get more views for sure. For the game, what's the one storage unit that got away from you that hurt the most? Could be a tough one. Putting you on the spot here.
That's been quite a few actually. So sometimes we know about units, but we don't take time. One that hurt, like a recent one, not that much recent, but probably the last 5 years. We filmed Storage Wars way north of LA. And we ended up deciding to stay the night there, and was like, there's an auction in the morning. It was one of the moving companies. So it's like those wooden boxes, right? And we go, it was like, let's just go in the morning to that auction. If there's something cool, we'll just rent a truck and we'll take it back. But it was like that LA type of thing. There's no parking. It took us like 2 blocks away to park. They had no room to pull up trucks. I'm like, how are you going to load all this? And the owners were like, we don't care. This is how it is. It has to be out today. And it's just, you park in the street, hope the cops don't give you a ticket. The whole thing was just a big pain in the ass. But we still look at the boxes. They only have like 8 boxes. Every box looks like complete shit except for 3. They're completely packed. And it looks like it's a lot of books and maybe some kind of office or something like that. But also it had that look, like it had that money look, and also some of the way the boxes were labeled with what type of books. I'm like, that is not a pro person. That is somebody that's eccentric, or it's different, like an Indiana Jones professor or whatever. But then we're like, you know what? Do we really want to deal with this? We have to film again in 2 days. We have to drive home. Or should we just go to Disneyland? So we decided to go to Disneyland. The guy who bought the 3 units, I knew him, and through another guy, he bought another unit that was just a leftovers of that unit. And they found all these old Asian pottery and artifacts and stuff that ended up being sold through Christie's for like $400,000.
Oof.
So
yeah. You can't win them all. Robbie Holt says Renee the GOAT. Hani says Renee and Casey are my favorite. Jeff Hart, good evening. Laura wants to know, what's easier for you, the YouTube channel or Storage Wars?
Definitely Storage Wars, because I just have to go there, be myself, and cameras don't really bother me. When you go there, you pretty much have 5 cameras around you at most of the time, and you just speak a lot. You kind of start learning to vocalize everything you do. That really helped me with breaking. And, one of the rules they tell you, if you're going to be on television, you don't have inner thoughts. You don't have any thoughts. If you think it, you talk about it. Dangerous game sometimes, right? Yeah. But so that's really easy. I just show up, they mic me up, and whatever happens, happens.
Really? So when we're watching Storage Wars, and there is some tension between you and some of the other stars of the show, like that is it's unscripted, that is natural, organic, authentic tension
for the most part. So this is always the answer I give, right? You got to remember, at the end of the day, we're still making television, right? In real life, I'm Christian and I really don't want any problems. I'm too old. You can call me fat. See, there's a guy in chat right now. This is the breaks. He's like, translate on hand. So the more success you get in life, especially for young people, the more haters you get. And the same thing happens in the storage business too, right? So if I buy a big unit for $5,000 off the show, there's going to be 2 or 3 losers telling you how you overpaid and how bad of a deal it is and all that stuff. And we just completely ignored it. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Thank you. My dad left me a trust fund. I don't need to make a profit, which is obviously not true. But so you kind of ignored it. Now on the show, it's a different story. When Daryl comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, fat ass, I'm gonna have to say something back, right?" And there was a famous incident on the show where it was like at least for me, there was a lot of tension with a new guy that was tall. He was talking about my wife. I called him Dumbo in the beginning, and some people were upset because I made fun of his ear. But remember, everything is edited, right? So yes, I called him Dumbo, but before that, he called me fat ass, and he told me it's just like I'm just here to watch him make money. I'm like, whatever. And then he said fat ass. I'm like, what are you talking about, Dumbo? But the way it was edited, they cut out the fat ass part and only showed the Dumbo, so I looked like an ass. But
yeah,
it's a TV show. It's reality TV. We have to vocalize, and we have to, there's a lot of people in life we don't like, correct? I'm sure you have people that you're just not fond of, but you're not going to go find them in the national. Hey, just want you to know you're an asshole. Just want you to know you're ugly. So we're on the show. If you say something, I'm going to say something back.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Gerald Dickerson says, now he just pulls fire 1-of-1 judge bat on card autos. Cha-ching. Did you pull a big judge card recently?
Yeah, I pulled him a 1-of-1 auto. I believe it was at a tier 1 on-card signature bat barrel. I also hooked him up with one of the owners with the Yankees that wants to buy that card really bad. Oh, wow. And Gerald is too good to reply to a text message to the owner of the Yankees because he's like not selling it. I'm like, at least reply with a text message. So
the Yankees.
We love Gerald. He's GG on our streams. He's a really good customer. I pulled him a lot of fire. He's basically upset if it's not a 1-on-1 at this point.
he's used to the good things. Steve Foley, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. Chad Shipper, welcome to the show. Stukes, good to see you as well. Says, what was your biggest surprise in a storage locker?
Probably, I don't know what season it was. I feel like it's season 10 with the video game locker. We just got back, just signed new contracts. Like when you first get into the mode, it's a lot of work to film. That's what most people don't realize. And it was literally the first episode of the season. And everybody just kind of had that mode, right? It's just like you back in the grind. There's highs and downs, emotions when you do your contract stuff. And they open up this locker. It totally looked like a tweaker locker. And at the time, we do a lot of video games. I mean, that locker actually pretty much, I had people from the Wall Street Journal call me, New York Times, Australian Times, like London Times. It was written about everywhere. We got a lot of hate because in the video game community, they don't like it when you expose the value of things because they go to yard sales and make a lot of profit, right?
Right.
Kind of how it used to be with trading cards, but that's still how it is with video games. So they don't like it when you say Mario Kart is worth $40 at the time, which we were selling all day in our store. So we buy this locker, and it's just like, and some people get offended when I say tweaker, but it's just the truth in the business, right? It was kind of tossed in, but right in the front of the lock, I see an Atari 2600, and I see a Vectrex system, which most people don't even know what that is.
I have a
Vectrex. To the right. But you know Vectrex? Yeah.
I have a Vectrex. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to buy one of those. So I see some video game boxes. I see some Nintendo cartridges sticking out. I see some Sega cartridges sticking out. And Daryl is there. And I'm like, I'm just going to buy this locker. I buy it for like $1,700. And I call Casey right when we bought it. And I'm like, I either just bought the mother load or the biggest junk pile. And normally on Storage Wars, we're not supposed to look at the lockers because we have to film everything. Sometimes they have to put lights overhead to get the right lighting for the cameras. And I told those guys, I'm sorry, I got to see. And we open up the first door. I lift this box in the top right. I come down. The whole thing is 8-bit Nintendo cartridges. I lift the next box, the whole. And when I say a whole, it's like 100, 150 cartridges. The next box is all Sega cartridges. And then the producers like start hitting me. Okay, no more touching, no more touching. And a lot of people thought it was staged because I brought one of my friends to Fluffy Gamer and they said, oh, yeah, this is staged up. He already has a guy that's into video games helping him unbox. I'm like, no, I looked at a couple of boxes. He's a personal friend of mine. I've been like, I'm going to get you in Storage Wars. And I'm like, dude, I got like 2 boxes of nothing but video games. You need to come. We're going to look at this. It's going to be epic, right? And so we get to the locker and we're working. Every freaking box in the beginning, it's about 40 or 50 boxes. Every game is nothing but game cartridges. This guy obviously put the stuff in storage probably in the 90s. And at the time, so you're going through, you see $5 games, and all of a sudden it's a $300 game. We found prototype games. We found, I got stuff that people barely know it exists. So that locker was just mind-blowing. On the show, we said we made $50,000, and we just we couldn't film it. It was just so much. And a lot of people are like, oh, bullshit, none of this stuff is worth it. In reality, we probably made like $100,000 on unlock. And I still have stuff. It was insane. Every system you can name was probably in there.
Hani wants to know what is your new business? We're obviously going to get to that soon, but you may as well let everybody know what is your current business, Renee?
Bargain Hunters Breaks, baby. Bargain Hunters Breaks.
He's opening up sports cards for customers on a regular basis. We'll get to that. What's up, Mike Double V? Welcome to the show. BD Ross says Renee is great at Storage Wars and is now an up and rising star with the card industry. Great to do business with. There's a nice testimonial right there for you. Nick Chen, one of the best ways to spend Saturday night. Welcome to the show, Nick. Thank you for joining us. Jeff Hart says, are you surprised more when you think you have a gold mine and it turns out bad, or the opposite? You think you threw away money and you hit the jackpot?
Let me reread that question. I'm sorry.
Are you surprised more when you think you have a gold mine, it's bad, or the opposite?
More when it goes crazy. So what most people don't realize, and that's why they're not successful in storages, anybody can buy, right? The skill in being successful in a storage business is to have a place where you can sell all the average stuff. Because even gold mines, half of the units is usually average stuff, right? So that's why we had to thrift store at the time. Like, we used to make a killing with clothing. Remember, so if I buy a ladies unit or girls unit, and they have 500 pieces of clothing and you price at an average price of $4, well, that's $2,000 right there. And that's what sells every day. I don't care where you are in the country, go to any Salvation Army or Goodwill, and you're going to see that probably 80 to 90% of the show floor is dedicated to clothing. I can sell you one TV, I can sell you one couch, collectibles here or there, but everybody's buying clothing every day that goes there, right? So I know I'm going to do well in most of the units that I buy, break even, make money. So I'm not that surprised, but I'm really surprised when we hit that mother load unit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a shocker when you think a unit is one way and you pay a lot for it, and then it completely turns out the other way. That sucks. So, but in general, we know how to we know how to make money. We were very successful in the business.
All right, good. Let's say hi to Orlando from A Collector's Dream YouTube channel. And Steve Foley has a question. Renee, regarding sports cards, do you tend to still find treasures, or has that changed with the uprise in sports card popularity over the past few years, really since the pandemic? I'll just, improvise the question a little bit there.
So we haven't bought as many lockers because of the pandemic. So we don't really find that much sports cards anymore. But I think it has changed. I think with the rise in sports cards, before you find a box of, 56, 57, 58 cards, even commons, and they're just not worth that much. And that might be a really tough sell. Where now there's so many collectors out there, and it's like, okay, I don't want to pay several $100s or $1,000 for mantle, but I'll buy a whole bunch of commons from the 50s and I pay $2, $3, $4. So all of a sudden that shoebox that you find where before the collector was like, yeah, that's nice, but I don't care, the stars are gone. Other people are like, well, that's kind of cool. I like Boston and these 7, and I'm that type of collector, right? So I like Miami, and maybe I don't know who these 7 guys are, but those are Miami cards from the 60s or 70s. I think that's cool. I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to take them. And spending $20 in today's market is nothing. So I don't know if that answered the question, but kind of.
We'll go with it. So do you collect sports cards yourself today?
Yes, it's not just sports cards. I collect everything. It's a problem. Tell
us a bit about your sports card collecting, though.
So I try to narrow it down because, like every collector, it's just so much, right? That's just so much. And what I learned with hobbies in the long run is I was better to buy the better stuff than just the common stuff. Right now, if I see a cool common card or a cool base card, I will still buy it if I like it. But I'm really so for the Phoenix Suns, I'm really into the 90s Suns, then also the early 2000 Suns with Steve Nash. Okay, any Suns basically. But what I'm trying to find is like on-card autos, game use patches, or cards just really, really pop. I really won't chase base cards graded. I like a lot of my stuff in my personal collection to be graded if possible. So once it goes like into PC for life, there's a good chance I'm probably going to send it to PSA, which is a waste of money if you're not going to sell it. But I like having stuff in holders. And that's just not sports cards. That's pretty much in all collectibles that I do. And lately I'm really into vintage wax. And what I do, I buy vintage graded wax packs. I actually got some right here. They're probably junk, but Actually, I might have a couple good ones. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm hunting. So, and I'm out for the hunt, and I don't go online as much on eBay. Just buy everything. I like going to shows and talking to people and finding discoveries. Grade some myself. So that's what I'm really into. And then I collect for baseball. I will buy cards. I think it's T12. I never can remember the year. I think it's like 1912, the foldable baseball cards with the center card. And I saw them actually when I met you at the event. A guy had a whole display case, and I don't think he did that well. He's like, yeah, we're blowing stuff out. I'm like, well, how much for the entire case? And he gave me a good price. It was actually a really good price. I should flip him, but I love him. And so I started collecting that set, and then I will buy non-sports cards. And like, just if I see a cool card, like I bought another card, which most collectors would make fun of me, but part of my heritage is Austrian-German, right? I was born in Austria. I'm a German citizen. My dad was German. And I found some kind of old tobacco card, turn of the century flags of the worlds. And it's an old Austrian flag. I'm like, that's cool. And the guy had it priced for $25. It was PSA grade. It's a stupid buy. He probably had it in a showcase for 10 years, but I had to have. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So I'll buy it.
I know those cards. Those flags of the world are actually pretty cool cards. So Mr. Davey has a question to finish that off. What is your Holy Grail card, or do you already own it?
My Holy Grail card. Well, I still own it. It's actually have it downstairs. So I guess we talk in value, right? It's probably one of my. I have a lot of stuff, so I can't remember. And like once I put it away, I don't think anymore. Oh, that's $5,000 sitting there. Like I don't think that way, right? And I go through my safe and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of cool stuff, and it's kind of fun to go through. But a card that stands out, I show it on my show all the time. I have a 2019 Obsidian Patrick Mahomes autograph card. It's numbered to 10. It is a 10 grade and a PSA 10 on the card. It's a thick card, so it's very hard to tend those. Out of the entire Obsidian run, I think they were called etchings. They have the different color etchings. Out of the entire Obsidian run, there's only 3 cards that got a 10 auto. Not a 10 auto, but a 10 grade in the card. So I have that. That's a pop 1. I've seen a guy on eBay on that has a PSA 9 listed for like 8,000 or 9,000. My card is probably worth 10 to 15. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. But that's a pretty big card I have.
Yeah, nice.
But I have a lot of cards that are worth $30 and $40 that are Holy Grails to me. I would never sell. I don't see it as monetary value. Like I like collecting. I got a Kevin Johnson on-card card that a guy sold me. I think I paid $60 or $70 for it at the Dallas card show. And we made a huge deal. And he's like, oh, I'm glad you bought that. That thing's been sitting here for 8 months. Not a single person asked. And I'm like, that is the coolest card ever. And I told people, I don't care if you offer $500. That card is not for sale. And I got one more Holy Grail. I'm sorry. I told you long answers, but I get passionate about this stuff. I found on eBay this pack. The Total Recall. Okay, so Total Recall came out. They did a trading card set, and it was a 132 card box set. You get every card. But at one time, they tried to make a wax packs and to put it at 7-Elevens and stuff. They made prototypes of that pack. Not that many exist. They've never done it. I think I can't remember how many, but there's probably less than 40 of those packs graded. There's only one PSA 9. The 8s usually sell for like $150. This guy on eBay had it at $60, and then he did a price reduction to $55. And I saw it, and I bought it for $55 as soon as I would have paid whatever. I don't care. It's a pop 1. And I wouldn't sell that pack for $1,000. Like every time I look at that pack, it's graded. It makes me happy, and I love stuff that's the highest grade. And one more, I got Marvel 1982 the sticker packs. I got in a PSA 10 pop 1. Again, that somebody put it on eBay for like $400 or $500. I sniped it immediately. I would never sell that pack. You can offer me $2,000-$3,000. I'm not selling it.
I love when a collector has something that isn't maybe worth a lot of money to the market, but to you wouldn't even sell it for 20 times the market value. All right, a couple of comments that came on Instagram. Can Texan said, Renee, love your Whatnot show. And Nas Production says, Renee, a former Clubhouse legend. And I've already, I remember hearing you on Clubhouse, probably 12, 18, maybe even 2 years ago now. Kind of forgot about that, but I don't know what happened to Clubhouse. It kind of came and went pretty quickly. All right, we're going to jump into the vintage spotlight segment. We're going to bring Leighton Sheldon on right away. I'm going to introduce you two, and you have a question for him. Perhaps he has a question for you. Leighton, good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show. Please meet Renee. Renee, please meet Leighton.
Hey, Renee, how are you?
Pleasure to meet you, my friend.
Great to meet you as well.
All right, let's jump in.
I feel like I spoke with you at the I'm sorry for interrupting. I feel like we met at the National. You look so familiar.
I think we have.
Okay, cool.
It's likely. Leighton's got a great booth at the National every year. I saw him at the Philly show a couple weekends ago. That was good to see you there, Leighton. Nice to see you back here again tonight. Renee, you have a question for Leighton, a vintage-themed question, I believe. I don't know if you saw it, if you are aware of this, Leighton, but let's hear it from Renee. What do you got, Renee?
So I'm really into collecting wax packs. I love packs from the 40s through the 60s or anything before if I can find it. How is that market doing now? I know Jeff Wilson did a huge video with the pack collector, and the guy was more into the cards on the packs. But I actually just love old packs like Close Combat, Donkey Kong. I'm hoping to hit one of those Indian tobacco packs. And how do you think that market is going? I hope it crashes so I can buy more. But as a dealer, how do you think that market is in general?
Sure. I mean, the vintage wax market is very strong, Renee, but I would be not doing my job if I didn't mention that, with all the recent talk of this CAT scanning, it kind of has people spooked and a little bit nervous about, what's going to happen with the future of vintage unopened. But some of the things that you just mentioned, and don't be wrong, 1960s vintage wax is really rare. But if you're talking about like Gowdy Indian gum or, Gowdy baseball, I mean, those packs from like the 30s and 40s are virtually non-existent. So if you can get your hands on like a Superman pack or a Gowdy Indian gum pack or a Gowdy pack, I mean, to me, those are priceless. But I'm not even sure how many of those exist. Every now and then through the years, places like REA or Heritage or Mile High, might have a find of some vintage unopened. So it's worth it to keep tabs on the auction houses. But in general, I'm very strong, believer in the vintage and open market. And if nothing else, I just think they're really cool pieces of history of our hobby.
Interesting. So that's actually a really great answer for me. I did see an Indian Gowdy pack at Heritage, and I missed it for like $1,200, and I just forgot about the auction. And I'm going to say something's going to upset collectors. I could care less about the card inside of the pack. When I collect that specific avenue, I just think the artwork, especially in the older packs, is so beautiful. I don't care if that. Well, actually, I'll take that back. If the Mickey Man on top, we are cracking it. But other than that, I'm not cracking any packs. Like I want to get the packs graded, and that's what I collect, just packs. I have packs from the 80s that obviously take me back to my childhood, and I have packs from the probably late 90s, early 2000s when I was really into girls before I met my wife. And I'm like, those packs will look cool, but I'm going on a date, so I can't buy it. And I just really love the history of packs and that. But that, I mean, I never thought about the scanner, so that's actually good. So, scan it. If it's only crap cards, sell it to me cheap. I like it. Renee at bargainhuntersthriftstore.com.
Renee, I didn't even realize, but you and I have this in common. I have a collection of graded wax packs, hockey from 1970. I have the whole O-Pee-Chee hockey run from 1970 to 1989. I don't have the 68s or the 69s. You just can't find them. But like you, Renee, I don't care what's inside them. I like the artifact of the pack, the way I remembered opening them up in the 80s. I love the artwork, and they make a great display. So like you, the whole CT scanning thing, sure, maybe it's going to hurt the value of my packs, but I've had these packs for 15 years plus for the most part. I don't care what's inside them. People always say, how do you not open them? Well, I say, maybe I'll open them on my deathbed, because until then, I want to keep them as they are. What about you? Like, do you feel maybe you'll open them up on your deathbed one day, or you'll just pass them along?
Look, the reason I collect packs, you see, these are just sitting here. I don't know what's here. I mean, these are cheap packs, okay? And you said on your, oh, you know what? I have it here. Now, I'll give you guys a quick 3 examples. We have time, right? We're amongst friends. We're in a circle of trust, right?
This is the circle of trust.
This is the Total Recall pack I just talked about. And it's a PSA 9. That's a Pop 1, right? So people always, come on, Renee, sell it to me. When I die, contact Casey. She'll give you a good deal. And then I have stuff like this. 87 Fleer. This does not have much value, right? And then I also have stuff like this. This is a big one for me. 1990 basketball. I was big time collecting cards. These don't have much value. I think these packs, that's a 9, that's a 7. Pretty sure these both less than $100. They might even be less than that, right? Yeah. When I look at these packs, I just get happy. The worries of the world go away. They take me back to my childhood. They get me back to my hunt, right? So I'm never going to open it. Even when I die, I'm going to be like, You know, I go back to when I was a little boy. And then you were talking about, I just started buying these packs. And now my friends are like, how do you not open this? This is 1986 Panini Super Sport Italian pack. I collected these in Germany, the German versions. This is Mike Tyson rookies in it. And people are like, how do you not open this? Mike Tyson rookie be worth a lot of money. But I'm like, I love it. Same thing with right here. So I used to watch this guy race 1969 Panini Campioni paper pack Dello Sports.
Yes.
So this is my Andretti rookies in it. The race car champion, right? Again, never going to sell it. This is 1973 Jack Nicklaus rookies.
Amazing.
And people buy them cracking, hoping to hit these rookies. Never going to sell these. But I don't know. It's again, when I collect, and I tell people breaking with us all the time. Like people come in, okay, I want to get rich. Which box do I crack? I'm like, it's not how it works, dude. This is a hobby. You're supposed to have fun. We'll buy $70 spots. Sometimes we get $10 in cards. Sometimes we get $7,000 in cards, right? It's a gamble, and some people like to take that gamble. But at the end of the day, like I crack cards all the time. That's how I got in my business. And I used to buy the Dolphins when we had no rookie draft and whatever. I'm like, nobody wanted the Dolphins. They're like $29 a spot. I'm like, this is great. When Tua was a rookie, every spot is like $6.7 million. I'm like, I'm not done to do that. So you should do it because you enjoy it. It's a relaxation. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a hobby. It's fun. Do cards go up and down? Yes. Is their value up and down? But if the value of it going up and down makes that big of a difference in your life, you probably shouldn't collect, to be honest. There's much better investments out there. This should be something because you're successful in life. It's disposable income, and you can be a geek that buys a stupid pack, and you look at it and you giggle, and your wife looks at you like you're weird, and you know, then you just do it.
That's the 1990 Fleer. You're a big Suns fan. You mentioned Kevin Johnson already. His rookie's in the year before. Do you have an 89 pack?
I really don't even know. So I just been buying. I really got into wax packs probably the last 6 months. I'm just buying them, and they just keep on getting stacked up everywhere. I got some really cool 60s horror packs, which I love.
You got to get an 89 Fleer. You got to get yourself an 89 Fleer pack. With the one thing you said there that I like the most out of everything you said, and I bet Leighton, you're probably thinking the same thing. A lot of people watching are probably thinking the same thing right here, but this really resonates with me when you just said, you know, I just look at these things and I get happy, because that's what being a collector. And that's, to me, I can pull a card from, you know, here or there and just look at it, or an unopened pack, you know, an 85 O-Pee-Chee hockey, Mario Lemieux rookie card might be in there. That makes me happy just to look at these things. So I love that you said that. That proves to me that you are a pure and a true collector. Leighton, do you have any sort of question for Renee? Because, hey, we have an opportunity here with the man of Storage Wars fame. Anything you'd like to ask Renee?
I would. I'm sure you've been asked this before, Renee, but I'm personally curious. Out of all your experiences, you know, on Storage Wars, either on or off camera, what's one of the most exciting sports card leads they were able to find and discover through Storage Wars?
Sports cards leads?
Meaning, like, did you find a sports card find or group of cards because of Storage Wars?
Let me think. Yeah, actually, so that was, it's a little bit of a longer story real quick, but we were filming Storage Wars for like a year straight. I basically had no life. And this guy calls me and he's like, hey, Renee, it was actually really funny because I got to the point where I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm having a breakdown. I'm not spending time with the family. We're just crazy. I told my wife, my daughter, and we had a nephew in town from Austria. We're getting in the car and we're driving towards South Dakota from San Diego. And we're going to stop in Las Vegas and we're going to go to Zion and Dinosaur. And then we're like, oh my God, we're like 2 hours from the Rockies. We went to the Rockies. I turned off my email. I turned off my phone. Everything was turned off. So sometimes I'm Christian, so I believe in God's plan sometimes. So it's just funny, right? And we just do that, and we're gone for like probably a little bit over 2 weeks. We end up going back to Yosemite and Lake Tahoe. No cell phone, no email. I told everybody. I told my employees, unless we're dying or the store is dying or it's on fire, do not call me. I don't care. You handle it. Whatever decision you make, I'll back you. You know what to do. So we come back, and then I get back in business mode. I read my email. Like literally the day we left, this dude sends me an email. My brother's been a collector since the 50s and 60s. He had a store in LA. We have 2 10x20s that are packed with cards and comic books and figures. And, you know, I'm older. I have diabetes. I cannot afford to pay for it. My dad can't afford to pay. We love you in Storage Wars. We want to sell it to you. And we want to sell it to you. And if not, we're just calling Goodwill. So I'm like, I called the guy. It's like 20 days later almost. And I'm like, call him that night at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, hey, this is Renee. I just saw your email. I was out of contact. He's like, that is so funny. I was about to send you another email. I was going to call Salvation Army. And I'm like, look, I just came back, but it sounds like great units. I'll drive up to LA tomorrow morning. So we look at the units. It's a lot of work. He's like, look, I know it's a lot of work. And I'm filming at the time. I'm like, I have like no free time, right? I barely can use the restroom. And he's like, just give me $6,000 for both units. And I'm like, wow, that's cheap. I saw Amigo figures right away. He said there was a whole row of comic books. And he says, there's like 20,000 books there. And he doesn't know what's in it. It ended up being 7 rows, okay? So, but 7 rows, like 40 boxes a row. It was just so packed. And I buy it from him. And he tells me, he's like, oh yeah, my brother used to be this big hoarder. And it's like a 4,000 square feet house. And there's rooms nobody has been in there since like the 70s. I'm like, that sounds, well, probably exaggerating, but I'm like, hey, if you ever want to sell it, let me know. I'll buy it. Long story short, I don't have a life, so I just end up renting the units. I pay for these units for like 6 months. We finally get a break in Storage Wars. And I told you, it's a long story. It's kind of, it's God's funny work, right? So God doesn't have me get it yet, where normally you should probably get it right away. I rented for 6 months. Finally, we have a break in Storage Wars. I tell my guys, all right, we got to get these units. Plus, I want to see what's in there. We get there and we're loading everything, and the manager goes like, yeah, the guy died. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I bought all this from his brother. He's like, no, his brother died too. He had diabetes. He has an infection in the leg. Oh, at one time I was at his house because I bought some like 3,000 sci-fi DVDs from him. And I'm like, he died. And I'm like, yeah. So I call his dad, and his dad was super old. He was like an old veteran. He fought at Pearl Harbor and stuff. And I called his dad, and he was like in his 90s, right? And I called his dad, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And he passed away. My condolences, and you'll be in our prayers. Let me know if you need anything. And he called me. He's like, hey, Renee, remember when you were here? We had all these action figures. We have more DVDs. He's like, I'm really stuck with the house. Can you just come and see if you can buy some of this stuff? I'm like, no problem. So we go there. We buy the stuff. And I talked to him about the hoarder house that brother told me. He's like, yeah, that house is worth like close to $1 million. We're going to pay a junk crew to clean everything out and throw it away so we can sell it. The house is paid, and that will be my retirement. And I'm like, wait a second. He said it's full of old stuff. He's like, it's such a hoarder house. You can't walk in there. It stinks, and it's just a nightmare. It's going to cost me like $40,000 or $50,000 to clean it out, but it's worth it. I'm going to get $1 million. And I'm like, is there any way we can go look at the house? He's like, all right, go. And he wasn't kidding. I mean, it was nasty. It was like the guy slept in the middle. But you walk in there, the whole room, like around is all showcases, and it's like models from the 60s, Japanese models. You walk to the next room, the guy collected Hawaiian shirts, so it's like literally 6 feet high, and you can't see anything. But on top of the room, all around, it's action figures and collectibles from the 50s and 60s. And then he goes like, yeah, you walk this way, nobody's been in there since the 70s. And I'm like, this is like the stuff we dream about, right? It could go either way. And I told him, I'm like, I almost didn't buy it. And I told him, I'm like, look, I'll give you $20,000 or $40,000. I don't remember what I paid. I think $20,000. And I think it cost me $25,000 to move. I think that sounds about right. And I'm like, I'll give you $20,000. I need the keys to the house for 30 days. And I take what I want. Then you can pay the rest of the junk crew. Number one, you get $20,000 up front. The junk crew has to move less, and you get money back that way too. And when we got back to the room, he did have cards from the 60s, 70s. We found a Flash #1 we sold for $25,000. Every rare comic book you can imagine, including Amazing Fantasy 15. The attic was covered with board games from the 50s and 60s. But it was loaded with sports cards. I have all these boxes. We had like a box like this of Gilligan wrappers from the Gilligan trading cards. We sold those for like $250 a piece on eBay. I still have boxes of cards that I've never even went through. I have stacks and stacks. I probably should have brought them of boxes of cards from the 50s and 60s, including Stars, OJ rookies, Gail Sawyer rookies. I have videos there's videos for all that, including Comic Book Hoarder House. I mean, and I still have most of it in storage because I've been so busy with storage. I have 3 10x20s just full from that house. There's probably like $500,000, maybe more. I don't know. I know I've sold over $100,000 out of it. I also spent probably at this point $100,000 between buying, moving, and storage. But I mean, that came through Storage Wars, and that find is incredible. I probably should work on it, but I don't have time. One day you'll see it on somebody's auction. Oh my God, I got to see it.
Very nice.
Sorry, long answer.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, it's got to be crazy some of the stuff you find and the experiences you get to have through the show, and even like you're making contacts on the show, and then those contacts don't go away. We the audience watching Storage Wars don't see that, but you're still working those leads, and they must lead to other leads and referrals and all that kind of things. That's really cool stuff. Leighton, anything else going on with you want to mention before we wrap up the Vintage Spotlight segment?
I just want to mention that we have a big event ending for Vintage Breaks tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're giving thousands of dollars in vintage cards and prizes. If you want to check out our stream, just go to youtube.com/Vintage Breaks. It'll be on all day tomorrow from noon to 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
Right on. All right, Leighton, thanks for joining us like you do on almost every Saturday. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks for coming with a question for Renee and vice versa. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Sounds good. Nice meeting you, Renee. Take care.
Nice meeting you too, Leighton. We'll see you at the National somewhere. Oh, you
All
know
right.
what? Talk about here's the brains behind the operations. Want to say hi real quick? They're doing shipping right now.
Hi guys.
Hey, what's up,
How
Casey?
we doing? We have 155 orders. Lots of coffee around here.
Nice. How it's good to see you again. Welcome to the show, Casey. And how did you manage to scoop yourself this beautiful man right here?
I know, right? I heard him say that I stalked him. I'm like, yeah, right. I hope you guys didn't believe that.
Why don't you give us your version of the story?
My version of the story is I was standing in line at Starbucks and Rene was behind me. He bought me a cup of coffee. He touched my hand and it was magical. It was like synergy. It was electric. And I was like, wow, okay. And then he bought me the cup of coffee. We talked for like 6 hours, which is like unheard of. And then here we are like 20 years later.
Nice. That's great. How have you enjoyed the whole transition? Well, doing Storage Wars as a couple, of course, because you guys are a package deal. Like every time I see Renee, you are there. Every time I see you, Renee is right there. And I got to tell you, like even inviting him on the show, he's always, every time I've talked to Renee, you're the first thing he mentions. And I'm not just saying that. It's true. You're the first thing he mentions every time I've talked to him. And I think it's really nice. So I'm just happy that you could stop by and say hello to myself and everybody watching. And if you're listening now or later, this is Casey, Renee's wife. So thanks for being here. How have you enjoyed the transition from Storage Wars to the sports card breaking business?
It's been exciting, and there's no heavy trucks to be loaded, right? Dirty boxes. Not having to load trucks in 110 degrees. That's awesome. And then hello, sports cards are fun and you get paid to do what you love, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Here, we have a question on Instagram from Cage Lawyer. He wants to know who wins in a fight, Hester or Barry?
Hester.
Oh, Hester. I don't know. The Barry could beat him by the gift of gab of driving Hester crazy.
Yeah, I mean Barry's an older gentleman. His fighting days are over.
But so
sure.
is Dave. He just happened to forget, right?
Yeah, nice.
He still thinks he's a young scrapper.
Right on. Good stuff. What Daryl or Hester? Who wins that fight?
Oh,
Still Dave.
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 Yeah, Dave. And they're both old farts that think they're young scrappers.
Dave's dad was a Marine Corps drill instructor, I believe, and he grew up on the camp, scrappy. He'd been in a lot of fights. I've seen him go face to face many times. Honestly, Dave is a scrapper. He's older now, but he got him.
I want to know, Casey, Renee's full of energy. You seem to be also which of the two of you is the harder worker? Which of the two of you is, I know it's a tough question, right? But do either of you are you motivating him? Is he motivating you? What's that dynamic like between the two of you?
I think it's both, but Renee's definitely a hard worker. I would say I work 100%, and ever since being in business and being married with Renee, we're a German company that we work 120%. Forget the 110, it's 120%. So, and I think we just work as a great team, and we both motivate each other. We have the same dreams and ambitions, and we're both children of immigrants, so we work hard.
And you guys have a daughter yourself. Is she involved in the business?
Oh yeah.
She's packing right now
She's
downstairs.
packing right now. She's my best right-hand gal. She helps, and with the transition of this new company, Bargainers Breaks, we wouldn't be able to do it without her because she helps so much in our company, and she loves it too.
Nice. Good to hear. I'm curious, why did you guys get into breaking in the first place? You had success on Storage Wars, making good money doing that. What was the catalyst that took you from that to like, hey, we're going to start a breaking company?
Well, Renee was buying into breaks, and I was like, I think we could do a better job. And then I'll let him lead in that one.
Yeah, so it basically came down to, COVID hit everybody, right? So our store even closed down for a while. We've always sold trading cards in our store, sealed product and new product. COVID hit, I started buying a lot more online too. I watched a lot of breakers, the way they were doing stuff, and there's a lot of really great breaking companies out there, but there's also a lot of crappy ones, right? And I was breaking, and I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to chase Phoenix and Dolphins cards at the time. That was like my main thing. And I'm in a room, and it's usually an 18 or 19-year-old kid, and they're rapping most of the time. And the music they're playing in the background is F this, F that, putty this. And I'm like, man, I'm spending my hard-earned money. And if my wife walks in right now, I would feel like I'm watching porn because it's so ghetto, right? And I'm like, I can't be the only person feeling that way. It's like not every person that buys cards is 18 years old and thinks we're in a hip-hop video. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, and then they wouldn't talk. And I'm like, I want interaction, right? I want it to be community. And like, as they were filling breaks, they're like rapping along to the songs that I've never heard. And I'm like, I can't relate to these people. And then if I don't bid high enough, they're yelling at me how this is bullshit. And they don't make any money. And I'm like, well, I don't like that either. And then it got to the point where a lot of breaks, and I wasn't familiar with all breaks. I'm just saying some, just the ones I have to interact with, right? And then they were like, then I get a big hit and I get it in a bubble envelope. And I'm like, well, that kind of sucks because, condition.
Condition is everything in sports cards. Hello.
So then we got to the certain point where I'm like, okay, I feel like this is a big business. Like I started learning a lot about the market. And I'm like, breaking is definitely taking off. And I feel like we can do a different type of show, attract people like us. And we would be extremely successful with it. And the first year, we just kind of did retail, secondary product, Panini, and we did small breaks like once a week, once every 2 weeks, plus our other business. And every time we just killed it. We sold out immediately. People are like, when are you doing your next ones? Then we started building it up, and then we got Topps Direct like a year ago in August. We hooked up with the Topps people, and they're like Fanatics people, and they're like, yeah, we want you to be part of it. The trade music in the background, yeah. So. And I don't know how to pronounce the player's name. I'm like the worst at player's name pronunciation, but that's like a little extra on my show. Just let's see how Renee says it. But what was it? So we got the Topps Direct account. And we're like, okay, we're going to do a lot more baseball. And let's just do what we want to do. And it just works. I mean, we're growing like crazy. We're in like really the first year. And the current calendar date, so far, we've done over 3 million in sales. Not within the last year, but just since January 1st until now. And that was only with one breaker, just me breaking, them shipping. We actually just hired our second full-time breaker. He ripped 22 cases of Finest by himself yesterday. Not Finest.
Night.
5-star.
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 Nice.
So, I don't know. It seems like the stuff that we did. So just like I figured, there's a lot of people that relate to it. We never, ever play any music in our rooms. Number one, it's illegal, copyright laws. Number two, like if we use Bargain Hunters breaks because it's obviously a well-established brand because Storage Wars people can relate to it, right? But if it wouldn't be Bargain Hunters breaks, it would be Cheers breaks because we would want you to come in, feel like family, the place where we hang out.
Community.
Community. We talk about cards. We talk about other things in life. And we just have fun and we try to rip cards. And we don't fake hype you. We don't tell you it's like, oh my God, the next box could have the Mickey Mantle in it because we know there's 10,000 boxes produced. So it's a 1 in 10,000 chance, right? We really try to do long-term relationships with our customers.
Nice. Well, here's a great comment just came in. Fourth the game. Paul Masheri says, the energy you all bring and the fun, even if I don't buy in, I love to watch you guys break. So that's a nice comment right there. E-Dub says, Renee and Casey's break are so much fun. Did my first one last Friday and loved it. Very nice. And Gary Keith is enjoying the show. It reminds everybody, hit that like button, show your support for the community, hit the subscribe, the notifications, all those things. Thank you, Gary. Always appreciate you. Stryker says, Casey is the brains of the business. Casey, the brains of the business, is now here and for the game. Casey, the whip cracker, keeping family first. Very nice. So Jake Dahl asks a good question. I was just going to ask this. Where can we find Bargain Hunters breaks? Where do you guys break?
So I also want to add something really quick. Striker 20 is actually our mod. And another thing that we changed, and I think some channels have it, but most channels on the platforms don't have it. He's actually a paid mod, and he's an incredible mod. And he does a lot of stuff on the side to make sure to be interactive with the community and have everybody knows what's going on. And that's another big difference. People know what's going on. So big shout out to him. He's a huge part of our success. We do break on Fanatics Live. We have 2 channels over there. We break on Whatnot. We actually have 3 channels. 1 full-time huge channel. Second channel just started going live yesterday. Third one's about to come. And then we're talking to a couple other platforms that want us to break on the platforms. And as we expand our business, we will be on more platforms. But the 2 main channels you can find us right now, Bargain Hunters Breaks on Fanatics, Bargain Hunters Breaks on Whatnot.
How big is the company? Obviously, it's you two. It's your daughter. You just mentioned you hired another full-time breaker who I got to meet. Zach seems like a great guy. How big is the company? And as you grow, Renee and Casey, and you bring on more breakers, how are you going to vet these guys and gals to ensure that they maintain the integrity of your brand? Because as we've seen over the past several years, breakers can go sideways sometimes.
So that's actually a really good question. That's actually a 2-part answer question. Let me give you the 1 part, the short answer. Stuff happens in life, okay? I don't care who you are. Nothing is perfect in business. Nobody does. Big companies mess up. Small companies pass up. Personal relationships mess up. We all mess up sometimes in business. Stuff does not go perfect, right? It's not about it not going perfect. That should be expected. If you can show me any business or any person that's perfect the entire run, show it to me. You won't be able to find it unless you're bullshitting. See, like I just cursed. I hate cursing, but I just messed up, right? And I apologize for it.
Right, where's the swear jar?
Swear jar just cost me $5. But it's not about messing up. It's how you handle those mess ups. Okay. Like my breaker just got somebody super hyped because he pulled a 1-on-1 cut of who was it? I think Frank Robinson. And on the card is a big picture of the Baltimore jersey that he signed. Not Baltimore, Milwaukee, but it's going to Baltimore. So he's like, oh, I've been telling this guy he won. And he kind of got him all excited. And then he's not getting the card. He's on the Baltimore checklist. So I'm like, you know what? You just make this guy. I mean, you kind of got him all pumped up for nothing and said, sorry, wrong team. I just gave him $45 worth of Bowman packs, Bowman hobby packs, right? I'm like, here for free, no matter what, you get something. So when you have mess ups, it's the way you handle it. So that's more important than how do you prevent everything. Of course, you try to prevent it. On your second part of the question, the way we vet. So I could have 10 breakers breaking tomorrow. Super easy. Everybody wants to be part of our company. I get resumes every day, people asking. I speak to people in person. I feel I'm really good at filling people. Obviously, that's never going to be perfect. We take baby steps. It's very hard. Like getting Zach on board here was probably a 3-month process. We are very careful. We have a lot of security systems in place. Breakers have to sign off. And we're still developing it. But we don't try to be a 20-stream breaker tomorrow. I could be if I wanted to. We have the financial resources. Top supports us every way that we need to be supported. We have a great relationship with them. But we slowly build. We watch it. We make sure it works, and we do baby steps. And this way, we can integrate people and let them know this is a family business. Our customers are family, and there's certain things that we have to do to make it right. And we will grow. We will be a 20-channel breaker channel eventually, but it's not going to be tomorrow.
How many people in the company right now?
It's only mainly 4, and every now and then we have a couple people we go sideways. But like I said, we're already done over $3 million this calendar year in sales.
Yeah,
which is
Renee,
huge.
Tatiana, now Zach, and Striker.
Oh yeah, Schreiker. So that's 5. So I'm sorry, I was
Nice.
my mod because he's AI. You know, he lives in the digital world. But yeah, so
Right.
with Schreiker, we're actually 5. So and then we have 2 or 3 people that we know that we hire on and off for certain tasks, and we're talking now about them coming on full time. So, but again, we grow it at a certain pace to make sure we can keep. It's not about just volume; it's also about quality.
I mean, I'm sure that your celebrity, your association with Storage Wars, the Bargain Hunters brand, obviously brings you customers. But what differentiates you from other breakers besides your identities?
Well,
The quality of service that we provide. be it
Expand
the
on
whole
that.
experience of coming into the breaks, the community, the buying, the security that you know you're going to get your cards, and the shipping.
So we probably hit at least 50 101s this year. Not a single scandal, not a single card missing. Everybody got everything, right? When you bust with us in a break, most breakers, not all breakers, but a lot of breakers, they will keep the vet base, right? They say vet base does not ship. That's why you should always ask when breaking. With us, all cards ship unless we do like a Bowman paper product. Now, what they do with those vet base cards, when you bust and you don't get a spot, they take those cards, repack them in a little team bag, and if you bust, you get a pack like that. So basically, you went not bust, but skunk. When you skunk, you get the cards that you already paid for in a previous break that you didn't get, right? So me as a consumer, that feels kind of shitty. I'm like, okay, I paid for the Dolphins. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I want every card. If I don't want it, I give it to a kid. But let me get this straight. I pay for the Dolphins. I don't get the vet. I pay for the Dolphins. I skunk, and now get the vet from the previous break. I'm like, that's stupid, right? With us, no matter what, you bust, you get a retail pack. So we just did 5-star breaks. We had a whole bunch of heritage. Everybody who skunked got a heritage pack. Before that, we were doing Sapphire, more expensive break. If you skunk, you got a $15 Bowman pack. You could pull a Dylan Cruz orange out of that. You could pull huge cards out of it, right?
And people have. They let us know.
Yeah, so we give all kinds of different packs. Packs anywhere from $2 to $10, depending on the break, depending on what we have in stock. But you will get some sort of retail pack. We've done it before where we send you vintage packs. But no matter what, you get something to open. No base vet cards. If you hit a card that is worth $8, or you get $8 worth of cards, or you get $800 worth of cards. Every shipment that we do, pretty much 90% of our shipments ship out within 24 hours. The other ones within 48 hours. No matter what, it comes.
I would like to say 36 hours.
Okay. She's very keen. I say 48 for safety, but it's fast.
Yeah, it's fast. Everybody always comments, I can't believe how fast I got my packages. I bought it. I live on the East Coast, the other side of the country, and I got my package within days.
Everything gets shipped in a hard box. There's not many breakers that do that. We've never, ever shipped anything in a bubble envelope, ever. Cards are cards. It doesn't matter if it's $8 or $80 or $800. It comes in a hard box with bubble wrap in a nice presentation. If you hit nicer cards, we upgrade you to priority shipping for free. We've even shipped next day air for people. What else? We don't have any music in our streams. Like I tell my breakers, you're not here to listen to music. If you want to watch my break and you want to listen to P. Diddy or Fleetwood Mac or metal, open up another tab, go to YouTube or Spotify, get the music you want, and you can listen to it. My job is here to interact with people and make them feel part of the community and be engaged. You don't want to see me singing along the songs. So it's not that pretty. So that's the thing my breakers are not used to. And, sometimes people come in, this channel sucks, there's no music. But, most of the time we're live on Whatnot. We have anywhere from 80 to 200 people at any given time. Our breaks sell out 2 or 3 breaks in advance. So there's something to it. And then everything else, a lot of breakers also, and I'm not knocking other breakers. There's different breakers for different types, right? There's people that absolutely hate breaking with me and they think this guy's much better. And that's totally fine. It's just like everything in life, beauty and success comes in many different ways, right? I went to a lot of breaks, and especially when a product comes out, they just go really fast and only look for the hit card, really fast and only for the hit card. Especially in the beginning, we try to show these cards and we try to show everything because we're not just looking for the $5,000 cards. There was a Tyreek Hill base card that I absolutely loved where he's stretching on the goal line and making a catch. So we want to see those cards in the beginning. So we take our time. And I tell my customers, by me going super fast, yes, I can go super fast if you want me to. But all I'm doing is I'm burning your money faster. If you just want to burn your money, do you want to be an old person just like pop, 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 pop on the slot machine? I don't even know what the hell is going on. You just click as fast as you possible till your money's gone. Or do you want to enjoy it and have an experience and just, it's like a fine wine. You don't shoot it, right? So we want to have an experience, breaking, excitement. We sweat cards. It's kind of like putting on a show, putting on a movie. So like some of these things top of my head that we try to be different. And we've cut people off, and we're super honest. I hated selling this product. It was absolute mega boxes that were going for $150 a box because everybody is in a kaboom break. And we had a couple hundred of them. And people are coming in, they're buying it. I'm like, hey, I just want to make it very clear. 99% you're going to lose. And when you lose, you're getting back $5 of cards. And we did that a lot in our channel. People are always amazed that we were being honest about that because you go to some other channels, and especially on Whatnot, they, oh yeah, you're going to hit the kaboom card, but it's so hard to hit the kaboom card. And then we had people in our channel just oh, I'm drunk. my wife is going to kill me tomorrow. And as soon as they say that, I'm like, look, I'm cutting you off. You can't buy any more boxes. I'm sorry. And which is kind of insane because they're just going a different channel. But I also feel I have a human responsibility. So if you tell me that you're drunk and your wife is going to be mad at you tomorrow, I'm going to verify that. And if I think that you're being serious, you're not just joking around, then I'm going to cut you off. So we had new people in there, and I'm just like, okay, that's it. I'm just love you. You're more than happy to come by with us tomorrow. I appreciate you. But if you buy any more boxes today, I'm just going to refund you. We're not going to sell you boxes.
What are your guys' thoughts on, we see a lot, and I spend time on Instagram, I watch YouTube, and I see a lot of commentary that it's gambling, breaking is gambling. What are your thoughts on the gamble aspect of it when it comes to breaking sports cards?
Of course it is. Everything in life is gambling. Gambling is fun. Like, people say, oh, this is stupid. This guy buys an $80 box and he gets a $20 card. Okay, so yeah, it happens. You know the risks. We tell you the risks. Everybody knows, but also we open up an $80 box and pull a $5,000 card. That is part of the excitement. If you don't want to gamble and you just want to have it, and you want to have a Honus Wagner collection, just ebay.com, put your American Express on there, no longer accept it, put your Visa on there, and just buy the 10 highest Honus Wagner cards, and that's it. You have one of the most fun Honus Wagner collections in the world.
But how exciting is that? Isn't it more fun to chase the hunt?
Yeah. If you want to make money, go on your E-Trade account, buy public stock. It'll give you 6% in shit, my brain just fried. It gives you 6% in payments. What's that called? Dividends, yes. 6% in dividends every year, and your money grows. But they say, no, I want to go to Vegas and I want to put $100 on blackjack and double my money. And I might lose my. It is part of the fun. It is part of the excitement. That's why I love going to shows and finding vintage packs, because I like looking at all the cases and I'm like, oh my God, there's one. Please let it be cheap. Please let nobody ask about it. So it's part of the excitement, and it's okay. And look, if you have $100 in your bank account and you're buying an $89 spot hoping to get a $10,000 card, I'm the first person to tell you you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. I've done it many times. I have famous NASCAR drivers breaking with us. I got major league players breaking with us. I had an NBA player breaking with us. Like every sports, we break it. I got movie producers breaking with us. I got all kinds of people. And you become friends with these people, so you know what you do. Like, I have people coming in there buying $3,000 cases, and people like commenting. They call wallet watches. Oh, this is insane. This is nuts. This is crazy. They're losing their money. And I just want to say, and we don't do it out of respect, just the house that this guy lives in is $21 million. I've been to his house. Buying a $3,000 box means nothing. I have one customer, super nice guy. We had delivered his cards. Within 45 minutes, he broke $60,000 worth of Dynasty cards. His house is more than $20 million. And people are like, this is nuts. This is so stupid. And I'm like, basically, that's like you flipping your friend for $1 to him. Probably less than that. Okay. So you don't know what these people are doing. And yes, there's a gamble to it. But if you can afford it and if it's fun to you, then do it. If you're bankrupting your family, you're an idiot. But that type of person, it doesn't matter if it's sports cards. They're going to do it with sports cards. They're going to do it with drugs. They're going to do it in Vegas. Those type of persons, they will always find a way to be self-destructive, right? There is a gamble to it, but that's part of the fun.
The brains.
Yeah, she teaching me the English. I'm not so good at the English. So I love your country. But it's like, you just have to be honest about it. There is a gamble to it, but gamble is fun. I gamble on stuff all the time. I go to Vegas. I was at, what show were we at? Which one did we go with all the eBay guys? What show were we at? Wasn't the National
Collective, not the Mint?
In Vegas?
No, the one where I gambled $1,500 on black.
Ohio. We were at National.
Oh, it's the National. I was playing with all the eBay executives, $1,500 hand off blackjack like an idiot. But you know what? It was freaking fun. It was exciting.
It was fun. Everybody was watching. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good ending. But
didn't work out.
Yeah. It was a lot of excitement.
But I didn't take my mortgage money or my rent money. I could afford to lose that money. So it's part of life.
As far as gambling, breaking being akin to gambling, what I like about your approach is that you're leaning into it. You're not denying it. I've heard some breakers don't want to use that word. They think it's going to maybe attract regulation or something to that extent. But you are. It is what it is. You're not trying to fool anybody. I like that approach.
But I look at it different, right? So I break all the time, but I break teams that I like. So Again, I can't just go on eBay and buy every card I want in a PSA 10 after best collection. That's boring, though. It's just get a big credit card bill, pay. That's not fun. I see new products or stuff that I like, and I'm like, cool, they have the German national team. I just bought with Mama Breaks. She did several cases of soccer, and it was all national. It was a Topps product. I think it was the Euro one. And I just bought Germany, and I'm like, this is fun. I got Thomas Müller autographs and numbered cards. That is fun to me. Now I'm spending 2 hours watching this. Now, I don't go in and buy a team like, okay, let me just buy the Yankees for $500 because I'm hoping to hit a Mickey Mantle autograph cut out or something like this, right? I buy teams that I like, and it's the collectible, but there's a gamble to it. Sometimes I spend $100 and get $20 in teams or even nothing. And sometimes I spend $100 and I get 500 in cards. Gambling is not even I don't know if gambling is even the right word, because gambling kind of implies trying to make money, right? I'm not trying to make money. I'm trying to have fun and collect. I think there's a risk to it. There's a different risk, but it's no different than me going in my pay-per-view and paying $29 for the movie that's still in the movie theater, right? But to me, that's boring. I like interaction, and I know there's a chance to it. So I buy what I collect. If you only that, and there are some people in it that are only trying to make money, and sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. But again, that's the one thing I hate about the hobby, and I've said it many times, and people get mad. The worst part about this hobby, all these influencers and everybody wants to tell you how you're supposed to do it, when you do it. If you don't do it that way, you're scum, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know my situation. You don't know if I want to spend $1,000 a week on breaking cards. That doesn't mean really shit to me. I make a lot of money. I have a lot of investments. I'm 50 years old. I got another 3 or 4 years in my life that are good, and that's it. So if I don't spend it now, she's gonna meet some young pool boy, and he's gonna spend it. He's gonna spend it. So I might as well do something that's fun for me, right? And everybody in the hobby wants to tell you what's right and what's wrong. At the end of the day, just shut up. Do what makes you happy. Do what's okay between you and your wife and family. And that's fine. We all have different points of views. People tell me collecting too is the dumbest thing you can do. Oh, well, so what? I spend the money I can spend. I still like him. He made me happy to watch him play. I want him to retire at this point, which would be devastating to some of the cards I have. But that's fine. It's we're in America, baby. It's a free country. We can do what we want to. I don't need anybody else to tell me who I collect, how much I should pay, and when I should do it, and how I should do it. I do what makes me happy at the end of the day. If this stupid ass pack from 1990 makes me happy, that's $100, and people say that's stupid. It's junk wax. Renee, you're an idiot.
He loves it.
You know nothing about the hobby. I'm like, okay, this makes me happy. You have no money. I spend $100 or less on this, and that's absolutely meaningless to me. So I've spent more than on appetizers. So if this makes me happy, I don't need anybody to okay for me to make me happy. Sorry, I get passionate about this shit because that's what's so wrong in the hobby. Everybody wants to tell you what to do. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you smile.
Well, here's somebody in the comments who says, "Love you and your content." I think he's talking about me there. So thank you, Jason, for loving me. But this entire speech is a contradiction. How do you?
Let's talk about it. Let's get specific. Let's talk about what's the contradiction. What are you upset about?
The contradiction?
I got a lot of haters, by the way, because I confront the haters.
Well, I got to tell you one thing, though, Renee. I have never seen a hit piece on you. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places, but you're a breaker. You're a celebrity. I've never, ever seen anybody. I've never seen a sports card content creator criticize you. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. How have you avoided that? Or maybe you said you have a lot of haters. I think, you have success. Of course, you have haters. But have you ever been criticized for your breaking business at all?
All the time. It's but you got to remember in life, the people that don't do, they criticize. That's kind of what they do. They sit in their mom's basement.
The cheap seats have comments, right?
The cheap seats have comments. They sit in their mom's basement. Mom, the fat guy from Storage One, he's on, and I just told him that he's fat. Yeah, me. His mom yells back, son, you're 37. Move out of my house and get a freaking job.
Throw out the trash.
Mom, I'm telling him, I'm putting him in his spot. I'm going to tell him that breakers are scammers. I got you, Mom. Take out the trash. I don't want to take out the trash. And I deal with those people all the time. And you got to remember that before, a decade or so, we had different social levels. And it used to say, you become the people you hang out with, right? You hang out with successful people, you become successful. You hang out with gang members, you're probably going to become a gang member. Social media has changed that. It doesn't matter how successful you are or how unsuccessful you are. Somebody that's unsuccessful and doesn't want to talk to you, all they have to do is type a sentence, push a button, and they talk like it's a freaking fact. And we attract people that either, like somebody says, breakers should be outlawed. We don't like breaking. Okay, Stalin. It's like, that's not how America works. It's a free country. If somebody wants to break, they have the freedom of choice. Okay. Just because you don't like breaking. And they say the same thing. Nobody should grate. Grating is the devil. That was in a Waterboy mama's voice. Grating is the devil. I'm like, you know what? It's my money. If I want to spend $30 to slap my card, that's my right. I had a big thing. I used to collect casino chips, and that was like World War III within the hobby. That hobby, by the way, died because they didn't adapt it. So all these people have an equal voice. And then we attract a lot of haters because we're successful. We're not supposed to be successful. To them, they think I'm just some fat storage guy that doesn't know shit, right? They don't know I've been collecting for 30 years because I don't feel like I need to tell them. And, they say, your show sucks. Your show's terrible. Well, I got 180 people in here that are disagreeing. Right now, I got my second guy breaking case after case. He's been live for 4 hours. I think he's on case number 9.
And I think he has like 110 people.
I've
been shipping and I've been watching. He's been packed in there all night.
And then we get
it's his second day on the job.
We get a lot of people coming out stream at night and they just come in and try to hate, but it's really breakers or like other people that have 4 people in the stream, they can't sell anything. And they'll be like, your price is too high. Okay, it's a free country. Don't buy it. You don't have to buy it. And also there's like, I don't try to be the cheapest breaker or I don't try to be the cheapest sell. Like comms, if you only want the cheapest, I'm not your guy. Go break with somebody on Instagram. All you see is their hands, and if they hit your super fractal, good luck. Hope you get it. We don't try to be the cheapest, but we try to bring you the best quality, and we try to give you reliability, and we try to have it where if you had a show you 101 super fractal, which we just sit and sent to Germany, which almost gave me a heart attack. We want you to know that when Renee and Casey break that for you, you're gonna get that card. So I'm the customer my whole life, including on eBay, including in other hobbies, and including everything. And the guy that only wants the cheapest for the cheapest, I don't want that customer. That customer is a nightmare. Yeah. Not looking for him.
Yeah. I want to say hello to Yitz. What's going on, Yitz? Good to see you. Jake Dahl liked the 90 Fleer pack, and Sullivan Sports Card says it's the gouging. I think that what he's saying is might offend some people if a breaker is gouging on pricing.
Don't buy. Don't buy. If nobody buys it, the price gets reduced. Same thing with Topps. If Topps puts out a product for $5,000 and nobody buys it, it's going to be on sale at Dave and Adams. It's very simple. It's a free market system. If you want fixed control pricing, may I recommend Russia? They tell you exactly what to sell everything for and who gets it. It is a free market economy. If you don't like it, I see stuff all the time. I walk up, it's like, oh, good. Renee likes this pack. Instead of 100, it's 500. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not going to tell you that I think it's too high. Or I'm not going to say it's gouging. I'm like, no problem. I just won't buy it. You have the power as a consumer. If the Dodgers sell out, if I have 20 cases going and the Dodgers sell out in 30 seconds every time at 149, I'm probably going to put them to 159 because other teams that don't sell, I have to discount. It's capitalism. It's what America is all about. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Talk with your wallet. Talk with your wallet.
I do it all the time. I was about to buy a truck right before COVID. It was like $55,000. Then COVID happened. They said it's $85,000. I'm like, I still haven't bought a truck. That's 4 years ago. It's like, it's a free society. If nobody buys it, nobody does it. And if everybody buys it, but you complain and you think it's so terrible, maybe you're wrong. Or maybe you shouldn't do that, right? I don't owe anybody. And this doesn't go just for breakers. This goes for cards. This goes for everything. I don't owe that I have to sell this to you for $60. If you tell me one time on eBay someone sold for 57 and there's one listed for 80 and I won 100, that's fine. Go get the one for 80 from eBay. Yeah. I actually tell you a story that came back to my store. We used to sell a lot of vintage electronics, and we had this big ass Sansui receiver in there, and we had $599 on it, which was on the high end for it, right? And this guy came in like several times. Can you listen to it? Can you play a record? Can you do all this stuff? Fine, whatever. We had a really nice vintage speakers.
Like 5 times.
Yeah. And then he never bought it. And I'm like, wow, I was sure this dude was going to buy it. 100%. Like I gave him service that was like service from God, right?
Right.
This dude comes back a month later. It's like, hey, Renee, I ended up buying this receiver. I'm like, it's still sitting there. Mm-hmm. I don't care because we played it. So I priced it high because I didn't really want to sell it. He's like, yeah, I bought it from this lady in Michigan. She shipped it. But when I play it, every time I touch the knob or do something, I get distortion. What do you think that is? And I know exactly what it is. But I told him, like, tell you what, you saved what you got it cheap. He's like, yeah, I saved $300. I'm like, that's excellent. So what you need to do, you need to call the lady in Michigan and get tech support from her. I'd be more than happy to help you. You can bring it in. We can hook it up. We hook it up to the speakers. We figure, he's like, that's great. I charge $250 an hour. So again, the guy saved $300 because he went cheaper. So it's the same thing all the time. Consumers drive the market. If I can sell this card for 120, why do I owe it to you that you think it's only worth 80 and I have to sell it to you? I'm not going to sell it. And the same thing, I do the same thing. I see cards or packs that I want, and I'm like, shit, man, this pack's supposed to be $700, but it's absolutely amazing. I love it and I want it. And this guy wants 900. I'm not going to tell him it's like, oh, this is ridiculous. I might offer him 700 or 800, but if he says no and I still want it, then I have to make a decision. Do I buy this pack for 900 or do I not buy this pack for $900? But at the end of the day, this is America. This is capitalism. It's a free society.
Sullivan says right here. Sullivan says he is correct. The consumer will always drive the market, not the seller. He goes on to say, love you, man, Renee. Can't wait for you to ship me some cash across the table again. Maybe you've played poker together in the past. And Laura's giving you a big round of applause for that speech. What are your thoughts, guys, on loaded the speculation, I'll call it, the accusations that certain companies, card companies, ship loaded cases to certain breakers? You're in the breaking business. You guys have been doing this for 4 years now or so. What are your thoughts on the loaded cases narrative that we've been hearing for a while now?
100% correct. I actually speak with Michael Rubin and Mike Mahan on a weekly basis. If they're not available, I usually just talk to Avery or Matthew. And they call me, hey, Renee, 5 stars coming out. Would you like Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle? And I'm like, Michael, that's how I call Michael Rubin. I'm like, Michael, is there any way I can get Mantle and Babe Ruth and maybe a Lou Gehrig just to like really kick ass? And we basically just pick our cases. Now, they do have the white party, which makes it a little bit more difficult. When they do the white party, I actually have to fly to Topps Fanatics headquarters. And then I just kind of pack my own boxes the way I want it. It's definitely true. So obviously we have loaded cases, and you should ask yourself the question, why would you break anywhere else?
Yeah. Okay. So that was good. But now give us your actual thoughts on, is it a real thing? Is it made up? What do you really think?
I wish it was the truth. You know what? If that was the truth, I couldn't have any better marketing or advertising for my breaking company. I actually hate being reality. If people are dumb enough to really think that, I just like, yeah, you're right. We got loaded cases. Why would you buy anywhere else? The truth is we break a lot. Okay. So 5-star, we're probably going to break 65 cases. That's a lot, right? We've already hit 2 cut autos, few 101s, but we also had cases that are terrible. And most people that make that comparison, they make that comparison because they buy a box in a hobby shop, or they see a YouTuber breaking a box, or not even a case. We just go through cases after cases after cases. Like I said, this year we've already broken, I don't know the exact number, but over $3 million worth in product. We are going to get hits, right? And sometimes the product looks great, and then sometimes the boxes go cold. That's just how it is. I always compare it to poker. I play poker professionally. We have a sponsorship with ACR Poker. I just finished 123rd in the main event of the World Series out of 10,000. Kind of know what I'm talking about.
10,122.
Did you finished 123rd in the main event?
Yeah, for $100,000 there.
Nice.
And yeah, I got $100,000. I was upset because I was 122 spots away from 10 million. But and it's the same thing. People say, and then we do online poker, and people say online poker is rigged. I'm like, how long have you been playing poker? 3 years. Where do you play? Just cash games. It's rigged. I know. I'm like, okay. You're just inexperienced. You're inexperienced with a big opinion. Let me give you the math here really quick. When you play regular live cash, if you're playing with a good dealer and good tables and everybody plays fast, 20 to 30 hands an hour if it's going good. I've been at tables, it's literally 10 hands an hour. It's a freaking nightmare, right? Tournaments can be worse. Online poker, I'll play 8 tables at once. I'll probably average 60 to 70 hands an hour because everything's automatic. It's super fast. I'll play 8 tables at once. So 7 times 60, what's that? 360, 420 hands an hour compared to 20 hands an hour. And then if I see these weird bad beats on this, because in 10 hours, I get 4,200 hands. In 10 hours of live poker, I get 200. So what's that? That's 25, 22? I think that's 21 days worth of action in one day compared to 1 day. Multiply that times months and years, and yes, you're going to see a lot more crazier crap in online poker. But it happens in live poker all the time. And if you say it doesn't, that just means you're an inexperienced poker player. And the same thing happens with breaking. It's a volume game. You know, we're a small breaking company. If you look at guys like We the Hobby, Dave and Adams, Leighton, Backyard Breaks. I don't even know who else.
Shut up, my guy's Filth Bomb.
Filth Bomb, these guys are gangster. They have like 10 different streams on Fanatics Live. Bless, that was another one I was giving some love to. Pole Wax. These are some really huge breaking companies, right? Some of these guys have 10 breakers going at any given time. They are literally ripping hundreds of cases of a product. Not only what we get allocated from companies like Topps, we hate Panini, but no, just kidding. But stuff that we get allocated from Fanatics, but also they go out in the secondary market and they know if a product is hot. We do the same thing. We know this product is going to be hot. We're just going to try to buy more because the price goes up. So these guys sometimes break hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases of product, and then they get big hits, and it's just math. It's just, and people are like, oh my God, he hit that card. I'm like, okay, yes, you're right. He hit this monster card. What about the other 199 cases he didn't hit crap? And what about the release before he didn't hit nothing? And then what about when some hobby store in Wisconsin hits one of the biggest LeBron cards? It's just numbers. There's only so many cases in the world. You know, a lot of releases, especially high-end releases, have 1,000 cases, 2,000 cases, 3,000 cases. So if I rip 300 to 400 of those cases, I have a top 10% chance of hitting a big card. Now, most products don't just have a big card. Most products have 20 or 30 big cards. So it's all math. It's just math. And then rounding the corners with Darren says, math, teacher approved. Look, haters are always going to hate. No matter what, they're going to hate. You know what? I can literally take $1 million and donate it to a charity, and it's going to be some ass on the internet. Oh, my God, Renee donated to this charity. This charity did this and that. He's the worst human being in the world. Shoot him. You know, that's the society we unfortunately live with. And we never know who leaves. Can I give you one story where it really changed my perception of online? Do we have time for one story? Sorry, I talk a lot. I want you. So I was fair warning in advance.
He did warn me, but listen, they hear enough from me. So let's hear from you. Keep going. Keep going.
So when I first got on Storage Wars, I was really stressing. I never wanted to be famous. I don't consider myself famous.
Should I go back to pack?
Yeah, pack.
Okay.
Get in the dungeon, woman.
Hi, Casey.
Get in the
Nice
dungeon.
to see you.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
I'm kind of hungry if you guys want to organize some food.
Okay.
So I got on Storage Wars. I was really stressing. I never wanted to be famous. And again, I don't consider myself famous, but I would say a lot of people would say I'm well known, right? And the first season was brutal for us. Barry quit the show. Everybody was like, "Oh, this asshole! He replaced Barry. We don't want Renee. We want Barry. He's probably the most popular, most beloved character on the show ever, right?" And we would get hate mail all the time. And then obviously we would have a lot of fights with Daryl. And you know, Storage Wars is like a sports league, right? If you like this guy, you're gonna like this other guy, and you watch every Tuesday to root for the other person. And at this guy on Twitter, and he's emailing me. This is our first season, and I don't really know how to handle people yet. At that time, we were still replying to people. Now we pretty much don't reply because it's just way too much at this point. And people literally will say really mean shit to you, just trying to get a rise out of you, right? And this happens in our streams all the time too. So this guy sends me a message, and he's like, "I just want you to know you suck. You fat. Daryl is the best storage buyer out there, and you'll never be a success on Storage Wars." I was like, wow, that's a little rough. I was like, I'll fight this guy. So I wrote him back on this.
No, he said you'll never be a successful store or storage buyer.
Is that, I don't know, something like that. And then I wrote him back. I'm like, well, thank God I'm one of the largest storage buyers in Southern California, and we have a 7,000 square feet store to fall back on that is basically open 7 days a week, year round. And then he wrote me back. He's like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm just really passionate about Daryl. I want to talk shit. That is so cool that you replied." And I was really mad about this. Like, I was like ready to fight. I was like still like a lot younger. I was like, screw this shit, right? I'm like, even if he kicks my ass, whatever. I'm a man. I'm going to stand up for myself. I've taken a beating before. It is what it is. And then he writes this back, and I'm like, damn, I was like super mad for the whole day. And I was writing back nice. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Then this dude writes to me, "Hey, I'm a huge fan of Storage Wars. Is there any way I can get an autograph?" I'm like, well, this is obviously changing fast. This is going unexpected.
Same guy.
I'm ready to throw down if this were in real life. And now he's asking me for an autograph. So I write him back, and I'm trying to be the bigger person at this time. Remember, I'm Christian. I try to do the right stuff, even though I make a lot of mistakes. I write him back, no problem. At this point, we already a lot of people asking us for that. So I'm like, go ahead. Here's the address. Send a self-addressed stamp and envelope, and my team will make sure you get an 8x10 signed autograph by me and Casey. This fool replies back to me, I'm so sorry. I'm on hard times in my life. I cannot afford a self-addressed stamp and envelope at the moment. That is literally what he writes back. And I told Casey, and I know I don't ever want to judge anybody, but I'm like, I was so mad about this guy for a day, and this guy cannot even afford a stamp and envelope, and he's being mean to other people. After that experience, I could care less what you say on social media. If you're acting out or you're being rude or same thing in my chat, you come in and just say something super negative, attacking, all I do, I block you and I move on with life. Those negative people are absolutely meaningless in my life. They don't contribute anything to my success, and they also don't keep me down. They're just haters that are going to hate. This is like the rap songs. Haters going to hate no matter what, right? So the more success you have, the more attacks you get. That's just what it is.
That's 100%. 100%. Jake, here, let's switch it up. Jake Dahl has a question. What are your thoughts on unlicensed products?
I like it. If you like it, get it. Why not? If you like it, get it. I used to sell a lot of wild card. I used to sell a lot of leaf. Topps obviously is unlicensed with basketball right now, but that is the only place you're going to get a Wembanyama. What a name. Wembanyama rookie that is actually signed. It's also the only place you're going to get a CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis signed rookie card. It's again, like, why are you asking me what to tell, what you should do? If you like it, buy it. I have unlicensed cards in my collection. Now if I had to choose, I prefer licensed because I like the team names and logos and the history. But if it's not available any other way, and a lot of times we also pay a different price, right? So at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, collect it. You don't need anybody to approve it or disapprove it. It's your money. You worked for it hard. If you like it, collect it. That's my answer with stuff like that.
Quick hello back to Darren. Good to see you, bud. Sullivan says, I love this guy so much. That's great. Brendan Ryan says, with that guy that wanted the self-addressed stamped envelope, he says that's a good situation to use a two-letter autograph right there. Oh, Laura makes a good joke. Go ahead, Jeremy. Ask him what the true Michael Jordan rookie card is. Are you familiar with that whole debate between the Fleer and the Star?
Yeah, so I mean, if you just go on facts, Star was before, right? So that should be the true rookie. I'm not 100% sure. Star wasn't licensed, but they just did use the logos, correct? Technically, they used the logos illegally.
No, they had a license. They had a license.
Well, then that is the true rookie. I'm sorry. Now, for me, the Fleer card is the most iconic Michael Jordan card ever. That's his Fleer rookie, and that's what we collected as kids, right? It's a little bit before my time when I really got into like basketball cards. But if you it doesn't take a genius to look on paper. If that was a licensed product and it came out before, that is the true Jordan rookie. I'm sorry. I don't care if you like it or dislike it. But if you look at the dates, that's before. I believe the Star card was 85, so correct? 1 year before,
84,
right?
84.
84. So that is the true rookie. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. So.
I agree with you. Rage here says, hurt people. Love you, Renee. But he loves me even more, Renee. Loves me even more. Right on.
I don't hurt anybody. It's like, I'm too old for that. I'm almost 50 years old. It's I just want to work hard, enjoy my family. My biggest goal in life was to raise a good daughter, try to be a good husband. And I really don't care what people say. People are going to judge you no matter what. I'm just going to work hard and try to impress and make the people that are positive in my life, to make them happy and just keep on building my business. And that's it. If you don't like me, that's great. I tell people coming all the time, they're like, you break suck. You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. I'm like, okay, swipe up. You'll be in another channel so fast. It's like, you come in here, talk shit on my channel. You try to attack me. I don't even know you exist. Why are we having this conversation? If you don't like me, that's fine. Just go somewhere else. If you want to be part of the community, open arms. We love you. You don't even have to buy. Just be positive in the community. That's all I need you to do. If you don't like me, it's a free country. That's like, I don't know how many, with 330 million Americans. I'm not the only one. Choose somebody else. It's totally fine.
You mentioned earlier, I think you said, you made a comment about Panini. What do you think about the whole, Fanatics acquires Topps. They acquire the licenses from Panini. They're starting to transition into them now and over the next couple of years. What are your thoughts on how Fanatics has impacted Topps and how Panini has responded, and just the two companies themselves?
I think it's great. I think Michael, and I know I'm going to get attacked, Michael Rubin ass kisser. I already know, but that's my opinion, right? So I kind of got famous there for a while, right? Storage was in every country in the world. I had companies offer me 6 figures for a month's worth of work, and we took it for different things, right? I approached Panini. I'm like, hey, I'm big in cards. I've been collecting the whole time. I've been collecting you guys since the 80s. I love you guys. I want to be part of this hobby. We're going to start this. Can we get a little support? Can we buy stuff? Don't talk to us. Tracy Heckler told me a year and a half ago, he is asking me when we're starting to build this breaking company, can you move $100,000 worth of product a month? I'm like, that's nothing. We're barely going. We moved that already. And I have cash. I can't pay in advance. I'm not asking for credit. I'm not asking for terms. Great, I'll hook you up. We probably exchanged about 10 messages. It's been not this last national, but the one before. He basically doesn't even reply to me anymore. And I'm sure part of that is because I'm very vocal about Panini. Panini doesn't care about its customers as much. They don't do any redemptions. Topps redemptions are within 30 days. Everybody says, oh my God, that Fanatics is taking over and is getting all the licenses. Well, Panini did the exact same thing when they came in, right?
True.
I think Michael Rubin is a visionary. I've started ripping Panini product when I first got into breaking, and then I started ripping a lot of Topps products. And I don't care if you love Panini or hate Panini or love Topps or hate Topps. If you take all their product runs and put them side by side, and you rip as much product as we do, the quality control is not even close. It's not even close. Barely any redemptions, and when there is a redemptions, probably 95% of the redemptions are 30 days or less. The card looks better. The product looks better. Every product that come out is new and innovative. They also want to grow the hobby. So sometimes that hurts, sometimes that's great. But at the end of the day, all of us, we spend a lot of money on this hobby, right? So one day we're going to eat shit. We're going to die. It's just part of life, okay? So is it much better if this pack is worth 120 or $5? Is it better when I die and 7 of you guys want to buy this from Casey? Or she lists on eBay for $5 and nobody cares, right? So it's still nice. Even though we love this stuff, it's still nice if there's some value. So when you have somebody like Fanatics coming in and their big goal is of growing the hobby, doing stuff like, I remember when they did Bowman draft with the Tom Brady card, everybody was like, oh, it's so upset. It's so a gimmick. It's so terrible. Again, it's a free world. If you don't want that, don't chase it. Don't buy it. I thought it was great. Tom Brady in a baseball card, on-card auto. I thought that was cool. I think what they just did with Bowman Chrome with the garbage pail cards, do you know how many new collectors I had in my stream that were just chasing baseball cards because of that, and those cards look really cool? And also about the visionary part. So I tried to approach Panini. They won't even return your phone call. They don't talk. They don't care. They're just printing money. They have no interest in doing anything. I met Jeff Gordon, and then I talked to Nick Bell directly, kind of both guys at the same time. And Nick Bell obviously in charge of Fanatics Live, and then I don't exactly know the exact company structure, but I believe above him is Mike Mahan, and then it's Michael Ruman, right? So I met all these guys, and I'm like, hey, I'm Renee from Storage Wars, and I do introduce myself as that because that is something I've gone for myself, so I'll be stupid not to take advantage of that. And this is what we want to do. And those guys were like, Renee, that is freaking crazy. We know your shows all over the world. You're going to bring in new collectors. How can we support you? And, they didn't just give me the keys to the kingdom or anything like this. We got like a little bit and we work up, show that we're capable of what we're doing. But along the entire way, it's like, how can we help you? How can we make a great team? So they're visionary, that they know what it takes to grow the hobby. And there's nothing wrong with growing the hobby. The bigger the hobby, the more our investments are. Some prices go down, some prices go up. But I just don't think Panini has that vision. And it's actually something way worse. It's okay not to have the vision, right? Not everybody has vision. Not everybody does it. But it's actually worth, I think Panini just doesn't care. Panini just doesn't care. They know they can make Prism. They do shitty-ass print lines. Our rookies are going to be in combine training uniforms running the 40-yard dash. And we're still dumb enough to spend $1,600 a box for Prism football. So why should they care? What are they going to do different? What are they going to try to do at this point, trying to get it from $1,600 to $1,800? They'll be like, the collector's dumb. Screw the print lines. We're going to buy it. So, and I think Topps is like, let's make a good product. So Topps messed up. I forgot which release it was. I think it was Series 1 where they had to super fractors twice in each product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Panini did that, they wouldn't respond. They wouldn't say anything. Oh, I don't know, printing error. It is what it is. I guess each super fractor has 2. What did Topps do? What did Michael Rubin do? What did Mike Mahan do? I don't know who made the final decision. They said, all right, we messed up. We don't know how it happened. It was security planned. We're going to land an investigation, but we're not going to leave you hanging. Here's the list of the super fractors. Here's how much we're paying for each. And what happened with the super fractors? They all skyrocketed in price, and whoever sold the first super fractor to them, which is the identical card, got it. So they bought cards for $4,000 or $5,000 that maybe bring $1,000 in the open market and destroyed them. So they did the right thing. They made a mistake, and they said, our bad, how can we fix this? All right, let's do the over-the-top thing.
Yeah.
And I already know what people are going to say. Oh, my God, they got Mercury coming. If you don't agree with it, just don't buy it. That's the
easiest thing to do. Don't buy it if you don't like it.
It's simple as that. It's like, if you don't agree with it, don't buy it. That goes back to pocket watching. If somebody comes to my room and buys 5 cases and that's what they want to do, it's their money. What is it to you? Is it going to change your life either way? If they spend $20 in cards or $15, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to make you unsuccessful. It's not going to make you successful. You don't know what the issue is with the other person. If Panini issues an $8,000 product for 8 cards and you don't like it, don't buy it. If you love it, buy it. Simple as that. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. Very simple.
True. I want to say thank you to Steve Foley. Says, great interview tonight on both sides. Thank you, Steve. Glad to see you in the chat tonight. And for the game, just comes in with this question. Any chance a new company could come into the hobby and give Fanatics a run for their money since Panini doesn't? I mean, Fanatics has the licenses locked up for who knows, 5-10 years, whatever those terms are. There are other companies that try to compete, the unlicensed companies, the Leafs of the world, that do a pretty good job with what they have to work with. I don't think there is a chance a new company can come in and give Fanatics a run for their money unless, like, what do you think would have to happen, Renee, for that to happen?
Well, number one, this is America. Anything is possible. Okay. This is one of the greatest countries in the world. I'm saying that as an immigrant, and I get people getting mad at me when I say that. The opportunity is there. Anything literally can happen in this country. Michael Rubin, actually, he started as an eBay seller selling ski equipment and worked his way up too, right? I think his family was out of Utah. So he was a small-time guy working his way up. Anything can always happen. So when anybody ever says never, never, I never believe in that. Upper Deck used to be the king. Topps and Fleer used to be the king. Then Panini came in. They were the king. Nobody can ever beat them. And now it's Fanatics. Hopefully they hold it forever because I have a really good relationship with these guys. But this is America. Anything is possible in America. This is still the land of dreams, no matter what people say. Number two, you don't always have to be the king of the mountain. This hobby is huge, and Fanatics is going to grow this hobby. I don't mind living on the 15th floor and they can have the penthouse. That's fine. I don't mind living on the 6th floor and they can have the penthouse. You have to find your own niche and building. Leaf was a super powerful company. I sold a lot of Leaf product. The only reason we stopped selling Leaf product, and I'm always honest and people get mad, but they started doing their own Whatnot channel and I was competing with them. And I'm like, I don't want to compete with the manufacturers. And when Kevin was still there, Pop Century came out and they were breaking Pop Century. And we used to play Duck, Duck, Goose, and they kind of copied that game, which is fine. I copied it from Backyard Breaks, no problem. And my friends at CB47, they invented the game supposedly. So, but I came in their stream. And so remember, it depends how you do stuff, right? I came in a stream and they sold a case of Pop Century. And they said, if you don't like that case, you get to pass and get another case, but you have to keep the second case at the same price. Now, remember, Leaf margins are probably like 8 to 10%. And I'm like, wow, how can I compete with the manufacturer if they let somebody rip a whole case, and if they don't like the case, rip another case? And then my question, what happens to the cards they didn't like? Am I going to get them in a repack, basically? Or will that come back out, right? So that was a really great manufacturer. I love their product, but I feel like they made a huge mistake competing with us. I had like $70,000 of product with them on order with the next 3 releases. And I called them and then I was like, oh, that's good. We're building the company. I'm like, how do I compete with that? Like, my customer's going to say, Renee, if I break you a case of Pop Century and I don't like it, can I have another case? I'm like, no, that's not how breaking works. Right. But that's what you guys are doing. That's the bar you set. So I canceled all my orders with them and we closed our account. That happened with a few small companies. But I think there's room. If you do the right thing and you build it, you can build a good company. I think there's a lot of companies out there that create really great products and they find their own niche as long as they stay true. The biggest thing I think I see a lot in this hobby is greed, where they start competing in places where they compete with their own customers. One company I love right now, Ripping, it's not super high-end and super value, but it makes me smile. I think it's cool. It's SMC, Saturday Morning Cards. We always crack their cases. I think that company in the long run will do really well as long as they stay true to who they are. But I think there's always opportunity. You don't have to be the king of the mountain in order to be successful in this business. There's always opportunity.
Nice. No, I like everything you said there. Opens your eyes to a few things that have gone on. Mid-Atlantic says Fanatics will go public before too long. When it does, it'll be a different company than it is today. Less focus on innovation and risk-taking, more focus on protecting what it has. Are you concerned with Fanatics going public at all?
No, I'll buy the stock when they do. I think it's a visionary company, and it's okay. Companies changes all the time. Our company, at least in my opinion, for what I feel, we're extremely successful in breaking, right? I mean, when I'm live, I'm always busy. I don't sit there for 4 hours trying to fill a break. We don't sit there like, oh, somebody please buy something. Like I will break from 4 o'clock at night, and we go sometimes till 8 in the morning, and I'm busy the whole time. As soon as it stops, I'm like, I'm going to bed, right? So my company, once I have 10 more breakers, will be different than the company you see now, right? We always innovate, we always change. And yes, when Fanatics will go public, now they have a board of directors to answer to. They have to worry about a stock price, and they have to do different things. But companies change all the time. One thing you guys also forget, especially in this industry, our business is also very reliant on what's the rookie class like, right? 2023 football is kind of going down right now because Will Levis is 0-3. Anthony Richardson not as great as we think maybe. Bryce Young is benched, and CJ Stroud just lost the game, right? So it constantly changes. It's okay for companies to change. It's part of life. All companies do that. So I'm not worried about that. Ever since Fanatics been in the business, I think cards have been better. We have better cross promotions. We had a Pete Rose card in Bowman. Come on, how cool is that? We weren't able to do that for the last 30 years or whatever. It's been 20 years. They have athletes going to all the hobby stores. You could have gone to LA and ripped cards with Mike Trout. They've done this all over the United States. They have athletes coming into streams talking about it. They have athletes buying cards. Josh Young has an own YouTube channel where he talks about cards and stuff like this. So Fanatics has been a positive impact in the hobby, in my opinion. Will they do something that you hate? Of course they will. Just don't buy it. Don't
exactly.
buy it. And they're not there to make you happy. They have to deal with 10 million customers. There's always going to be somebody upset. And remember also, a lot of the negative people, especially in YouTube, they get paid to be negative. If I make a video saying, oh, this person is great, everything's wonderful, nobody cares. If I make a video and say this person is an asshole or this person is crooked, that's this, everybody's like, oh my God, why are they crooked? And then they just go with it, right? And we had so many people in the hobby that were such opinionated people, and then it turned out to be crooks, right?
Oh, we've seen that.
Just because you see the internet doesn't mean nothing. Somebody's always going to be upset.
We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, Renee. It goes by pretty quick. We have two things to do. We have to do the Mint Ink giveaway. Mint Ink, one of the channel sponsors, giving away a $50 gift card to mintink.ca. That is their online website where you can go spend the money. They'll also let you spend it at a show if you see them at a show. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to do the Mint Ink giveaway, everybody. In order to be a part of the giveaway, all you have to do is put into the chat what I'm about to put on to the screen. It's going to be, you have to go hashtag Mint Ink and the number after it, which I'm about to share with you. Before we do that, though, actually, let's just do that right now. Here we go. Game on. Type into the chat Mint Ink 13, hashtag Mint Ink 13. I chose 13 because that was the first year that Renee and Casey appeared on Storage Wars, was 2013. Mint Ink 13 to enter to have a chance to win a $50 gift card. If you are the winner, you just need to send me your email address, and I will share that with Mint Ink, and they will send you a code to redeem on their website. Guys, get your entries in right now. We're going to do this pretty quick, so do not delay. If you are behind in the stream, I am sorry if you are not going to be able to enter, but we do this every Saturday night through the end of the year. Mark Santucci says, Topps does rip with players. Jake Dahl says, Phil Hughes breaks cards on YouTube. He's a former Yankees pitcher. And he's been doing that for a long time now. Phil Hughes has been. And then my favorite comment of the last few minutes is from Tom Newman, says, I can't tell if Renee's background is a green screen or real bricks. Renee, anything you'd like to say about that while we collect a few more entries into the giveaway?
Fun little fact, actually, as my hobby, I do masonry work. So we did all that masonry work. And then my mod Striker, he's actually really cool with like doing all this shabby chic stuff. So he actually acid washed the whole light. And then we have a friend of ours. He's a Lego seller. His name is Robert Maynard. He's actually pretty big on whatnot. He's like, Renee, like this theme is all about lighting. So he actually came in and installed those 3 lights right there just to kind of give it like a vintage type of look. And then between my excellent mason work and lighting, it's I don't know. I think it just came out really good. And we actually built a second wall in our first studio now, so we have it in both studios. And I think that's kind of going to be the feel of Bargain Hunters. I think it's a really warm experience. What do you guys think?
I think, first of all, as I've told you, and here, we're going to do the giveaway. We have 26. There's a 26 entry. Rage just got in. We got over 80 people right now with us, 57 on YouTube alone. You kind of need to be on YouTube in order to enter the giveaway. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you are, best to come over to YouTube. But it might be too late. But if you watch this, you know about this. You know this is coming. So we are stalled out at 26. I'm going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Let's see who our winner tonight is of the Mint Inc. $50 giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Final person. Rage is the winner. Rage in the cage. Rage. You just need to send me an email to sportscardsliveshow@gmail.com. You can find that on the YouTube channel as well, or reach out to me anywhere, and I will get you the code. We will get you the code from Mint Inc. Congratulations to Rage on winning the giveaway. He was the last one to enter the giveaway, and he was the winner.
Rigged. If you're breaking, that's what you hear right now. Rigged. Last one to enter. Rigged.
The nice thing is that this is I forgot to show my hands on this. Usually I put my hands on the screen when it's going, but I have no this is, as you guys can here, let me put it back up for a second. As you guys can see, this is StreamYard.com/giveaway. StreamYard is the streaming platform that myself and many live streamers use, and they have a built-in giveaway tool. And there we go. Congratulations to Rage on that one. Well, yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Tom Newman. And Rage with the win, says Darren. So back to your question, Renee. I think it's a really nice looking background. Those bricks, your masonry work is top notch. They look really good. It's a good pattern you have going there. So congratulations on that work. And I think you have a great background. So we're gonna wrap this up, man. Though, listen, we are coming up on 2 hours. It's been great having you. You're a great storyteller. Lots of insights into the Storage Wars portion of your journey, the Bargain Hunters breaks, ongoing portion of your journey, the growth plans. You know, I thought this was a lot of fun. Laura says, Jeremy, thanks for having such an exceptional guest in Renee tonight. Continued success in all your ventures, Renee. Thank you, Laura. Chat, get your final comments in. We're going to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes. Renee, anything else you want to mention, talk about, kind of a final opportunity to get a few words in here?
I mean, I think people in the hobby stress a little bit too much. And I think there's a certain aspect of the hobby that just kind of pushes that a little bit. But I don't even consider them true collectors. They just kind of looking for drama, and it just happens to be in this hobby. And if it's not in here, then it's going to be in Barbie or in coins or anything else. I think if you guys like cards, and don't worry, I wouldn't be as worried if it's Panini or Fanatics or Topps, which is owned by Panini. I saw somebody said to comment Topps rips, but Topps is actually owned by Fanatics, in case you don't know. Just have fun. Don't spend money you can't afford. Don't spend money you can lose. Have fun in the hobby. At the end of the day, this should be fun, right? We are collecting cards of sports athletes that we watch. You know, prices will go up and down. If it really causes you heart pain or makes you so anxious or something like that, then just don't buy it. Buy something else. There's so many products out there. Even with Fanatics, people get mad. Like, you know, now the big controversy is the price of Mercury. Do we agree? Do we disagree? You know what? Topps update is coming. I think that's like $150 a hobby box, maybe even less. I don't even know. But it's cheap, right, for the amount of cards that you're getting. So if you don't want to buy that, buy that. It's like you're not going to your local Ferrari dealer and complaining the stupid car is $1 million and you can't afford it. It's just, you don't do none of that. So I hope you don't. If you do, call some serious help, right? But it's just have fun with the hobby. There's so many different products line. There's so many different opportunities. There's so many different companies you can collect. There's so many different stores you can deal with, so many different shows, so many different breakers. There's like a million choices. Don't concentrate on the negative, concentrate on the positive, and have fun.
Right on. Way to go. What a great way to end this off. Tom Newman says, Renee is a clubhouse legend. Appreciate the show. As always, you're the best. Thank you, Tom, for being here. Darren says, after hours, show some crowd. No after hours night. This is show 2 of 5 consecutive nights of streams, guys. So we're not going to do after hours tonight, but thank you, Darren, for the request. I do appreciate it. For the game, says Renee, see ya on Whatnot. Jeremy always has great guests. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for being here tonight. Thank you, Rage, as always. Mark Santucci, thanks for being here. Gary Keith, thank you, as always, guys. This is it. That's the end of the show, everybody. I want to thank Private Collection Insurance for sponsoring this episode. I want to also mention that this episode and all Sports Cards Live episodes are available on podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Please tune into those, subscribe, like, all those things that podcasters and YouTubers ask for, guys. With that, this episode of Sports Cards Live here on September the 28th, 2024 with Rene Nezhoda from Storage Wars fame and also Casey, who joined us as well. Thank you very much. This episode is now over.